Welcome to the All-State Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week. We're here in Oak Creek as the 2-2 Oak Creek Knights take on the 4-0 Franklin Sabres. My name is Mike McGivern. I'm with Sports Radio 1250 WSSP, alongside ex-Oak Creek, Wisconsin Badger Detroit Line running back Brian Calhoun, and this is the Sports Radio 1250 pregame show. Brian, when you talk about Oak Creek and Franklin, right away you talk rivalry. It's like the Hatfields and McCoys, the Packers and the Bears. You've played in this game. Tell me what's going through these kids' minds right now.
Well, anytime you have a school, and as Oak Creek and Franklin is close in proximity, less than 10 miles, there's always going to be bad blood. I had a chance to actually play in this game a couple times, and I think really the rivalry kind of started in 1999 when on an Oak Creek team when I was, we were number 1 in state. We were 25th in the country by USA Today, so it was a big deal for us. We went into Franklin, they beat us, and it's never really a rivalry until the underdog actually wins, and they were the underdog, and they won, and now it's been a bad blood rivalry ever since.
I had a chance to talk to both coaches prior to us doing this, and the one question I have for both of them was, there's going to be some hitting going on tonight. And big smile on both their faces, and oh yeah, there's definitely going to be some hitting. You're not going to have to check the pulse of these kids. Blood pressure's going right now, heart's pumping pretty hard. Prior to the game, a lot of talking going on.
Well, you expect that, and this is a hard and physical rivalry game. You think about it, since Coach Cook, Joe Cook, he was here for a long time, where Oak Creek has been a dominant program in the state of Wisconsin. Between the years of 1997 and 2003, they were one of the best programs in the state. You move forward, a few years after Joe Cook resigned, Franklin went on to win a state title in Division II, and they've won the last 2 out of 3 in this rivalry. So I expect a lot of hitting, and I'm excited for this game.
Let's talk a little bit about the teams. Franklin has given up 6 points in 4 games. And I think it's important for Oak Creek to get on the board and get on the board early to prove that they can get in the end zone on these guys.
Yeah, I agree, and it all evolves around Oak Creek's quarterback, Kyle Voles. I mean, he's a great player. I had a chance to see him twice last year, so it all evolves around him. So I think Franklin's defense will be tested against a very athletic quarterback who can run and pass.
I had a chance to see Franklin play in a 4-team scrimmage. Walked away thinking they were the best team that I'd seen in that scrimmage. Looking at their schedule, other than Marquette, they haven't played the type of the caliber of talent that Oak Creek has played, and I'm wondering if that's going to hurt them in this game.
I don't think so. I think Franklin's coaching staff, they have them ready to go. And not only do they have them ready to go, it's a big game against a rival. So I think they'll be fine, but I'm just really excited to see, which offensive defense steps up in this game.
Hey, as a player, again, you had played in this game. Different speed, different hitting going on when you play against Franklin?
Yeah, I think so. You really just turn it up a notch when you play against guys that you really don't like. And I think it's nothing different in this group, and I'm really expected to see a physical ball game.
Last question, we'll get to a break. I talked with, again, both coaches, and they said, these kids all know each other. These kids hang out a little bit in the summertime. They know each other because they're so close. Bragging rights for the off season right now, right here. Are you going to make a prediction?
The bragging rights definitely start here. I mean, think about it. Schools are less than 10 miles apart. These kids grew up together. They've played against each other in a variety of leagues. And like I said before, Oak Creek has been dominantly, they've been the best team so far for a while. Now Franklin's starting to catch up the last few years. So I think bragging rights, I'm not going to go out on a limb, but I think Franklin's going to eke this one out.
There you go. I'm going the other way on that, just to be different. Hey, let's get to a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to get up to the booth for the call of the game with John Weiser and Dick Basham. This is the All-State Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week.
With Hall of Fame high school coach Dick Basham, John Weiser with you from Knights Community Field in Oak Creek. Site of tonight's ball game between Oak Creek and Franklin. A big battle here tonight. 2 contrasting styles. We're going to see the option veer for Oak Creek and the passing game of Franklin tonight. Breaking it down even further into the players of the game here tonight. Talk a little bit about this Oak Creek offense led by quarterback Kyle Velos.
Yeah, Kyle Velos is a 3-year starter at Oak Creek at quarterback. He's been their leading rusher in the past. He's their leading rusher this year right now. He's a very good passer as well. He's the guy that really starts everything off. They have other good players. He's got a good receiver to throw to. So if he's having a good game, Oak Creek's going to have a good night.
On defense for Oak Creek, Derek Ziegler, one of their outstanding players.
Well, Oak Creek is always solid on defense. Even though they gave up a few points to Bradford last week, they are a solid defensive team. Derek Ziegler's got 5 tackles for a loss. He's got 6 hurries on the quarterback. He's got a couple of sacks. that means he's been in the backfield causing trouble, and I think that's when he's at his best. Most strong safeties are better players on the team, and Derek has filled that role, that's for sure.
For Franklin, it's one of those pass, kind of run and shoot type of offenses led by their quarterback, Lance Barretts.
Well, Lance Barretts is also a 3-year starter. They don't huddle up. They line up at the line, get their play, and they run it from there. He's accounted for 7,000 yards in 2.5 years, actually. And he can do it all. And if Oak Creek doesn't contain him, it'll be a problem tonight.
On defense, they've pitched 3 shutouts in the first 4 ball games, led by Macon Plewa.
Well, Macon Plewa is linebackers. His dad is one of the assistant coaches. He knows the game really well. He's a 3.7 student. Coach Clem says his intelligence is really an asset on the field, and he uses that to his advantage. But he has a lot of good players to play with, and they're definitely a solid defense, only giving up 6 points in 4 games.
Time now for Coach's keys to the game tonight, first for Franklin.
Well, the key for Franklin, I think, is to have defensive discipline and really cover all phases of the option. If they let Velos get loose or if he gets the pitch going, then Oak Creek is going to have a good night, and they really need to be solid on the option. Also, they need to keep the ball on offense, I think, and shorten the game up a little bit, although it's a little harder to do that when you're throwing, but Franklin has run the ball a lot this year. And finally, I think they need to make a big play on special teams, block a kick, run a kick back, something like that to maybe put the game away a little bit early. And finally, for Oak Creek, they need to contain that Franklin quarterback. He's a guy that needs to be between the tackles. If you let him get outside and run around, then he's either going to gain a lot of yards or he's going to throw it to some really good receivers. And they need to execute on offense and be unpredictable, I think, so that Franklin can't stack in there and really stuff everything up. And finally, they need to win the battle on special teams, the takeaway battle, and see if they can get a few takeaways tonight.
They're playing for the Helmet Trophy for the 47th consecutive year, Oak Creek and Franklin, coming up next on All-State Thursday Night Lights. A breezy evening in Oak Creek for this one here tonight, the 47th renewal, Franklin and Oak Creek from Community Stadium in Oak Creek. With Dick Basham, John Weiser back with you, and should be a temperature-wise a good evening for football, but it's really going to affect play going from left to right.
Yeah, that's true. We have a gale wind that's going to be blowing the ball from south to north.
Well, before we get started, our national anthem tonight being sung by Summer Klepek, a 5th grade student at Meadowview Elementary School. Nice job by Summer Klepek, a Meadowview Elementary 5th grader with our national anthem here tonight in Oak Creek. You may have noticed during the warm-ups tonight that Oak Creek was wearing the blue jerseys, but they've come out dressed in all black. Mike McGivern, what's the storyline on that?
I went over to the coach and asked him, and they pulled out the blacks when the boys were out here warming up, and just to excite these guys and tell them to get after it a little bit.
Interesting.
So they pulled out the blacks as these guys were warming up, and they got him in black and said, "Look, we're getting after it tonight." Players went nuts. They're ready to go. It's going to be a good game.
Should be a fun one tonight. Thank you, Mike, for getting on top of that. Franklin won the toss. They have deferred to the second half. Oak Creek in the black will be moving from left to right as you view it here from Oak Creek Community Stadium.
Yeah, we'll see if jerseys make a difference. I guess if Oak Creek wins, we'll credit them.
Lincoln Wiley standing to the near side. John Swiatkowski to the far side awaiting our kickoff. A packed stadium for this one tonight. Franklin in a three-way tie for first place in the Southeast Conference with Kenosha Bradford and Kenosha Tremper. Jed Kennedy is here tonight from Bradford scouting this ball game. As we said, the wind will be a factor.
Right.
They're going to have to hang on to that football right off the get-go on the tee. Joe Falzon ready to kick this one off tonight.
This should be in the end zone, I think, if he gets it up in the wind.
And he gets a healthy one into this, and you are correct. It's going to one-hop the end zone and through for the automatic touchback. Oak Creek ball from their own 20-yard line. Kyle Velos is their starting quarterback for the Knights. Velos, an outstanding senior, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Completed 50% of his passes this year, 450 yards, 5 touchdowns. Has yet to throw an interception this year. An excellent runner as well. He's rushed for 250 yards and a touchdown this season. You'll see tight splits in that veer option that they run offensively. And our first play of the game goes to the fullback. And that is McNutt on the carry, our first carry of the ball game, Jamal McNutt. Let's get a look at the backs and receivers for Oak Creek here tonight. Jamal McNutt will be one of the running backs, a senior 5'9". Nick Stokes will be the flanker. Nick Young, the other running back. Tight end Jordan Velos and Joey Gribble, the split end. 2nd down and 9 from just across their own 21-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, and Velos wants to throw it out. It short hops the intended target, incomplete. The offensive line for Oak Creek, a very good one, led by their center, Andrew Deptula, a 3-year starter, 6'5", 195. Says, Lambert, Velos, Canzaneri, and Jensen up front. 3rd down and 9. So you get a look at the Franklin lineup. I'll run through that one more time for you. 3rd down, 9. Velos from shotgun, trips to the left. Velos going to roll left. With time, squares, fires, completes out across the 35, out of bounds near the 39-yard line. An 18-yard pickup and a first down for the Oak Creek Knights.
Throw to Donovan. Yeah, that was a sprint out to the left. And he was able to get outside and get his feet set. Nice throw going to the left. That's a little tougher throw for a right-handed quarterback, but that was right on the money.
So Oak Creek getting the initial first down of the ball game, a minute in, moving it out to their own 38-yard line. Velos will work in under center. Split backfield, 2 receivers near side, wants to throw it near side, through the intended target and incomplete, looking for Stokes here on the near side.
Yeah, that was a little bit high. Would have been a great catch, but just a hair high, and he did have room to run if he had caught it.
Up front for Franklin tonight, a 3-4, Conley, Butler, Tomasino, Brendan Butler, the all-conference nose guard. Linebackers, Freejoff, Playwell we talked about, Kornhoff, Alonzo Dentiti, and Tony Meyer. And your secondary of Donovan, Nogalski, and Bilk. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Velos from shotgun, going to throw it up near side. Coming back this way, ball caught on the near side. Joey Gribble with the catch across midfield, working away from Pat Donovan that time, the corner.
Well, Gribble has been playing a long time. He's an excellent receiver. He never waits for the ball to come to him. He always goes and gets it, and that's what he had to do there because that play was fairly well covered, as you can see on that replay right there. It was an excellent catch.
A tough throw, throwing back into the wind, allowing that defender to close on something like that.
Yeah, that allows that ball just to hang up there, and that was a great play by Gribble.
1st and 10 in Franklin territory. They'll hand it off. Going over the left side, inside the 40. They give it to Wiley, Lincoln Wiley. Bilk and Donovan in on the stop. Our starting lineups tonight brought to you by Hits, specializing in team sports and spirit wear, apparel, and promotional items at hitswisconsin.com.
Well, that last play was just a veer dive to the weak side. They're actually going opposite the tight end on that play. Now they're trading the tight end over to the other side, trying to take advantage of a defensive alignment.
That's Jordan Velos, and they'll try and hand it off, and they go nowhere that time. May have lost a yard trying to go with McNutt that time. It was Brendan Butler, the nose guard we just talked about, all conference a year ago, able to make the play.
Yeah, he's a terror in there, and he's 6'1", 260 pounds, and as strong as the day is long. And I think you're probably going to see that a little bit more tonight than Oak Creek wants to, although talking to Coach Bartholomew during the week, he feels his center is a very good player and maybe can handle that situation. So it's early in the game. We'll see what happens.
3rd down. We'll call it 4 from the Franklin 36-yard line. Initial possession for Oak Creek. And the pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Good play up front.
That was Kornhoff.
Kornhoff, the linebacker, reading that nice.
Yeah, that was right in his hands. That could have been trouble if he'd have caught it.
So the drive stalls at the Franklin 36-yard line.
That's intended for Evans.
Derek Ziegler will do the punting here for Oak Creek. Try and hang this one into the wind. Try and drop it inside the 20. Rush on. They nearly get the block. End over end kick. Bounces inside the 5 and makes it into the end zone for the touchback. Oak Creek unable to down it inside the 5. So Franklin will get their first possession. We're just 3 minutes in. A scoreless ball game as we get a look at the Franklin offense for the first time tonight. Their all-conference quarterback from a year ago, Lance Bartz. Bartz, senior, 6 foot 186. He's thrown for over 684 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks on the season for their senior quarterback. He'll work from shotgun, full receivers, double slots, single man in the backfield. Pollock will get the call, coming around the near side, tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Good defense up front. That was Nick Marks, the outside linebacker here on the near side, able to make the play.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. He played off a block and made that play.
Let's get a look at the backs and receivers here for Franklin tonight. Pollock at running back. Schlem is the flanker along with Walton, and Oates is your split end. Now passing it out complete on that far side. Schlem with the catch out across the 30 should have enough for a Franklin first down.
Pass is completed. Catch made by Shane. Tackle made by Evans.
Evans, I believe, on the stop as we get a look at the replay.
Will be spotted at the 33-yard line. Savings.
So First Bank Financial Center first down here for Franklin. Their initial of the ball game as they drag a man in motion near side. Bartz looking to throw over the middle. It is caught across the 40 and wrestled down at the 43-yard line.
Pass is complete.
As they go to the tight end here on the far side on a little drag over the middle.
Yeah, that was Anthony Meyer, and he was wide open. But so was the guy who went in motion.
Well, 2 popular people in the city of Oak Creek right now. Brian Calhoun is one of them. Brian, who do you have?
I'm with Mayor Bolander from the city of Oak Creek. Mayor, what has this rivalry brought to the city and the community?
Well, this rivalry has been going on for quite a while. Mayor Taylor and myself have a standing bet who buys breakfast according to the win-loss situation. But it's just good. You see how the kids are tonight. They're having a good time. They're orderly. I think it's a great thing when two cities have a little rivalry but a respectful one. And that's what this brings. And I'm very proud of the kids in this school and proud of the kids in Franklin.
Thank you,
Two good
Mayor.
schools, two good cities.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Dick Bolander, a great backer of Oak Creek Athletics, Oak Creek High School. Gain of 5 on that last play, 2nd down and 5. They'll work from shotgun, 3 receivers here to the near side, and Pollock gets the call, stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
It's a little zone read play, and you could see the Franklin players all standing up, all lined up, waiting to get the play. They had looked at their armbands that time. They all wear armbands, so they know what the play is going to be. Sometimes there's this verbal signal. Sometimes they have to look at their armbands.
Nice
That was
play.
well defended by Oak
Steven
Creek on
Prado.
that play. Yeah, Steve Prado, the nose man.
3rd and 4, passing down here for Bartz, coming back on a slant with the catch into Oak Creek territory. Walton, all-conference receiver here at Gill, able to make the play, should have enough for a 1st down. Kepsel there on the coverage.
Yeah, they have a lot of all-conference receivers to throw to, and that was a pretty easy toss in the 1st down.
He's lined up in a slot here on the near side.
Just a little turn in. You can just see him turn in there right there by the OC. It was well defended, but not till after he caught it.
So each team has made a trip into the other territory tonight. Franklin now from the 48 of Oak Creek. Bart's play action coming near side, man open, catch at the 10, touchdown Franklin.
That's Brady
Oates.
Yeah.
With a nice toss from Bartz to Oates, over the shoulder catch, his 3rd touchdown. Swatlowski out there in coverage, but it was Oates that got a step on him just across the 30-yard line.
Well, they faked that running play, pulled the ball. No rush on the quarterback. He ran right by the corner, and it was a perfect throw. Considering the way the wind's blowing, it could have been an overthrow very easily, but it was right on the money.
9th touchdown pass tossed by Bartz this year. And the tack on for the extra point. It is to the upright and good. Midway through our 1st quarter, 7-0 Franklin. 7-play, 80-yard drive, just under 3 minutes. And Bartz 4 for 4 on that drive for 74 yards.
Push-ups for the Wisconsin National Guard.
Well,
Let's go down to the sideline and Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, I had a chance to listen to the coach staff talk to the offense at Oak Creek, and they talked about missing 1 block. They missed 1 block. It was 2nd and 3. Missed a block out to 3rd and 5, and they said, "Boys, we can't make 1 mistake and stay with this Franklin team." What he talked about is picking up their pace a little bit and making sure they take care of those mistakes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. 7-0 Franklin. They get the early jump on Oak Creek.
That's out of
Another
here.
driving kick that will go all the way through the end zone with the win. 2nd consecutive touchback on the kickoff. Once again, Oak Creek will start their drive on their own 20-yard line.
Well, the first time Oak Creek had the ball, they had a nice drive going. The wind didn't seem to be a factor. They don't throw a lot of long passes. And Velos has got a very strong arm, so we'll see if they can get out of here again.
Go with that split veer behind the guards on the running backs. And they'll toss it out here, and ball on the turf. Was it a completed catch here to the near side to Stokes? That's the question. It was a completed catch. So just over the 20. We'll call it 2nd and 9. Velos connecting with Stokes. So 2nd down, no gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. And Velos having trouble with the snap is going to be stopped at the 21-yard line. Lost the exchange there. Kornhoff, the middle linebacker, coming through, able to make the play for Franklin as we get a look at this one.
Yeah, this was a snap that just got away from him and fell right at his feet. He was lucky there. Able to pick it up and get back. Actually got about a yard out of the run.
That's unusual for those two. Andrew Deptula,
Right.
the center, a 3-year starter as well, 6'5", 195. Those guys have been together now
Right.
almost 3 full seasons. High snap, Velos on the scramble, being chased. Going to throw it up the middle of the field, and it's going to be intercepted by Franklin across midfield. Donovan with the pick, and he returns it inside the Oak Creek 45 with a flag on the play. We'll check out the penalty here. So we get a look at this one, Dick.
Right.
Kind of a ill-advised pass back over the middle.
Right. This is a prayer that was answered the wrong way as far as Oak Creek was concerned. And it was a nice return also. We got a flag here. Looks like it's to be a penalty
Check
on
out
Oak
the
Creek
penalty
as well.
here
Personal foul
against
on
Franklin.
Franklin.
Gary Gundert, our official for tonight. 7-0, Franklin on top with the early lead. We will take a break. This is the All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Sabres with the early lead, 7-0 on a Bart's touchdown pass to start our ball game on their opening drive. Oak Creek throwing the interception, turning the ball over, and the 15-yard penalty has moved the football down to the 30-yard line. Our official tonight, Gary Gundert, had indicated it was against Franklin, but they've moved the football down to the 30 following the dead ball at the 45, so it was against Oak Creek.
Right.
So now the Knights backed up on defense here, trying to prevent Franklin from jumping out to a 2-score lead.
Yeah, this is a huge situation for Franklin because they're in 4-down territory to start out with the win. Probably at minimum you would expect them maybe to get a field goal here, but I think they're thinking bigger things than that, that's for sure.
Get a good look at Jeff Klemp talking to the offense. So the Sabres will get it 1st and 10 following the Donovan interception at the Oak Creek 30-yard line.
Oak Creek appears to be playing man-to-man matchups here. We'll see if they can hold up under those conditions.
Pollock, the lone man in the backfield. They'll drag the tight end in motion to the far side, and they'll give it to Pollock over the middle inside the 25 and down to the 22-yard line. Strong 8-yard run that time by Jesse Pollock, their senior running back.
Yeah, he's a very solid runner. He's also a good receiver, but they have plenty of other receivers. They don't need him.
Jake Joxwood there to make the play for Oak Creek, but not before he picks up 8. 2nd down, we'll call it 2. 4:50 to go here in this first quarter.
Double twins alignment. They got the receivers equally spaced on either side.
They go far side. They swing it out, complete with the catch. Anthony Meyer. And Meyer takes it inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line.
Well, not only is he a good receiver, he's a load after he catches it as well. He had 52 catches as a sophomore, missed all of last year with a knee operation, and is now getting back into shape. They can see what kind of a runner he is as well.
Let's go down to the sideline and Brian Calhoun. Well, we apologize. Brian Knight quite ready. It'll be 1st and goal. Franklin inside the 9 as they hand it off. Pollock went down to the 5. 2nd and goal from the 5. Now let's check in with Brian Calhoun.
Sideline, just overheard Coach Bart talking to his offensive defense. He's very disappointed in the last 2 series. One on defense where his cornerback was caught squatting, looking at backfield. He's very disappointed with his quarterback for an interception, but that's because the defensive line for Franklin's getting a lot of penetration on the Oak Creek offensive line. Back to the booth.
Well, they got a lot of penetration on that play. They stuffed it for a 1-yard loss. That's exactly what they needed in this situation.
Steven Prado there to make the play for Oak Creek. So Franklin facing a 3rd and goal at the Oak Creek 5-yard line, trying to capitalize on the Donovan interception. Bart's rolling out to the left, going to the near side, incomplete. Trying to roll it out here to the near side. Overthrew his intended target that time, so sets up 4th down. It appears the field goal unit coming on for the Sabres.
Well, Oak Creek was all over that pattern. He forced it a perfect throw, which couldn't be done because there wasn't enough room to do it and keep the ball in bounds. And so Oak Creek is going to dodge a little bit of a bullet here if they can get out of here with just 3 points against them.
Matt Ward in to attempt the field goal here for the Sabres. It'll be a 22-yarder from the right hash mark. He'll have a healthy wind at his back. And it is on the way and good. 22-yard field goal for Ward. And they add to it, getting the points on the turnover, making it a 10-0 Sabre lead here late in the first quarter. Really important to come away with points on that drive following the turnover.
Well, it works both ways. It was important for Oak Creek not to give them 7 points, and it's important for Franklin to get at least 3 out of it, to get it at least to 2 scores, to get it. So it's both teams, I think, handled that situation about as well as could be expected, and that, especially with the win behind Franklin the way it was. Now they're going to kick off. They still have 3 minutes. They're going to kick off again. It's no doubt going to be out of the end zone. So Oak Creek has got to find a way to keep the ball for a while here and get some field position, if nothing else, so they don't have to punt against the wind again.
Again, Franklin winning our coin toss tonight, so they chose to go on defense, chose to get the wind at their back
I think
here.
almost every coach I know would have made the same choice had they won the toss. Defer and at least make them decide if they want to give up offense the first time.
This will be another kickoff almost through the crossbar on the touchback. So from the 20-yard line, once again, Oak Creek will get it. Well, he used to be a spy. Now he helps other people in trouble. The hottest show on cable now comes to network TV. Watch Burn Notice. That's Wednesdays at 7 starting October 6th on My24. Once again, the Knights starting a drive, their 3rd straight, from their own 20.
A little bit of an unbalanced formation.
Velos going to hand it off.
Oak Creek has brought
Jamal
their
McNutt there on the carry. The fullback barely got a yard.
right.
Adam Conley right there to make the play for the Sabres.
Oak Creek is bringing one of their left offensive linemen from the left side over to the right side and overloading that side with linemen along with their 2 receivers, and then keeping the tight end with the guard over there. So it really gives them a lot of power on that strong side.
Hoffmeyer and Gribble here to the near side, the 2 wideouts. And Velos will keep it, trying to go over the left side. Coughed up the football. Franklin says they have it. Let's see. No official signal yet.
We got a lot of.
They did. Second turnover of the night. Velos fumbling the football. And coming up with it for Franklin was our guy, Macon Playwa. We talked about him in the pregame.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge turnover there. With the ball at the 27-yard line with the wind, they could actually get this game could be out of touch almost right away.
So another takeaway by that Franklin defense. They'll go trips here to the near side. Jesse Pollock, the lone running back. Lance Baritz will call out the play at the line of scrimmage. Steps up, plenty of time to throw, going over the middle. It's incomplete, and I think he'd like to have that one back, looking for Brady Oates. Looked like he rushed the throw just a little bit.
That was true. That was a really nice route. They ran a little hitch and go on the safety man. The receiver went down the field and then hesitated like he was going to stop for the throw, and then took off. And I think Lance Barrett got a little too excited. Should have put a little air under it, give him a chance to run underneath it because he was wide open.
Double slot, 4 receivers on 2nd and 10 from the Oak Creek 26. Again, Arts with time, now rolling right. Pump fakes, going to dump one in the back corner of the end zone. Oates with the leaping grab. Was he in? He was! Touchdown, Franklin.
Now that makes up for the last one. As easy as the last throw was, that one was that difficult. And that's what happens when you let Barrett get outside and run around, because he can either run it or throw it.
Watch the footwork of Oates here when he comes down with the football.
Yeah, he
knows exactly where he is.
1 foot down right there. In high school, all you have to do is get 1 foot in with possession, and that was a great catch and throw as well.
Oates' 2nd touchdown reception of the game. And the extra point on the way is good.
That could be our good hands play right there, I would say.
That might be our good hands play of the ball game right there. It doesn't get any better. What a nice pitch by Barrett with the wind at his back, and Oates with an outstanding catch in the back corner of the end zone. So they take advantage of the 2 takeaways, Coach. We talked about the turnovers probably playing a part in our ball game here tonight, and certainly to the Sabres' advantage, they're getting 10 points off turnovers.
Yeah, I said that Oak Creek needed to win that turnover battle, and right now they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole, actually a big hole. The only good news for them is in a couple of minutes they're going to have the wind, and maybe they can do something with the win and get Franklin backed up and try to get this game back in hand. And you can count on this kick being in out of the end zone again, so they're going to be starting on their 20-yard line.
Once again, a high kick that the wind will sail through the end zone for the touchback. Be 1st and 10, Oak Creek at their own 20-yard line. Everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate in their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Students can sign a pledge at the Allstate booth at all of our Thursday Night Lights games, or they can go online to allstate.com/teen and get more information.
Well, Joe Falzone, the kickoff man for Franklin, his average just went up quite a bit here in the first half.
Well, Velos will hand this one off, and again, McNutt right up the middle. Kornhoff there with the stop. Gain of about 2. Sets up a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that's just good, solid defense. Defensive linemen are shedding their blockers. Linebackers are stepping up and really they're not getting any extra yards after the hit. That's what the veer really counts on, is getting that 2nd and 3rd yard after the hit, so you get 2nd and 5, and that's just not happening right now. Trading the tight end over to the other side.
Just short of the 23-yard line. 2nd down, we'll call it 7. Velos trapped in the backfield, and he is stopped. Loss of 1 on the play back to the 22. A swarm of Sabres that time on top of Velos.
Well, that was Tim Gross that had made the tackle. He had a hold of his ankle before he could go anywhere. Should be able to see that here on the replay coming up. Step up, right. Actually, about 3 guys had it. I think Brendan Butler got a hand on him, the nose guard.
Another tough down here for Oak Creek, 3rd and long.
They're getting themselves into situations where Franklin knows they have to throw it if they want to. Boy, they really pressured him that time.
Yep, Velos under pressure, had to unload that one in a hurry. He took a shot after he got rid of that football.
That was Gross again.
Gross, yeah, right again. Off that defensive tackle spot, putting the pressure on Velos, forcing him to throw it away, and a 3 and out for the Oak Creek offense.
6'1", 217-pound senior. He is very quick. And nobody's really getting a hand on him as far as blocking him. Now we'll see what happens. They're punting into the wind. Franklin's going for the block here, it looks like.
Punt is blocked inside the 20. Still rolling around. It's picked up by Franklin. They'll run it into the end zone for the score.
That was a great play. That was Tony Meyer. He came across. He blocked the kick. Then it turned around and the ball's on the ground. He came back and got the ball, picked it up, and ran it in for a touchdown. That is a great play.
Special teams coming up big for the Sabres as we get a look here.
And the punter really walked right into this. See how he stepped off to the right and just walked right into the block. There's the ball kicking around, and then all of a sudden there's Tony back in the play. He picks it up, runs it in for a touchdown. He deserved it. He made the play. What a great play. I was actually at Franklin's practice this week, and I have to say I'm not surprised because they were working on that at practice.
Ward to tack on the extra point. It is up and good, and just like that, you can hear the air come out of this stadium here in Oak Creek. 24-0 Franklin.
Yeah. I don't think Franklin saw the black
takeaways.
Jerseys, did you? I don't think Franklin saw the black jerseys.
Nope. Didn't do anything for the Sabres here tonight. You get a look at Jeff Klemp there on the sideline, and Coach Bartholomew here for Oak Creek.
Right.
And what a first quarter here for Franklin. They get a couple of defensive turnovers, a special teams play. All of this coming in the first quarter here tonight.
You know, it's really interesting how this game started because on the coin flip, Franklin won the toss and they chose to defer, which means that Oak Creek could have chosen to kick off and defend and take the win, but they chose to take the ball, which is, I mean, that's what the coaches, that's how they get paid, you know, to make those kind of decisions. We're not saying it was a wrong decision, but they're putting that decision on the other team, which was really to Franklin's advantage in the situation. Oak Creek felt that they could move the ball on offense, I think, and not worry about the fact that the wind was blowing, but it's actually blowing up in their face right now. And in 44 seconds, they're going to have the wind. We'll see if they can take advantage of it in some way.
Well, zone with another booming kick.
It's not as good
this
a
time
kick.
it's going to be returnable.
It's in the end zone.
And then it goes into the end zone off the kick returner that time. And again, anytime the ball gets into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. Lincoln Wiley that time unable to come up with it. So Oak Creek once again from their own 20-yard line. Again, we'd like to welcome First Bank Financial Center as the first down sponsor on All-State Thursday Night Lights. First Financial Banking Center, discover the community bank difference. A First Bank first down for Oak Creek.
All right, they need to run this clock for a couple plays and get the wind in their favor.
Balos in under center, going to run option right at you here near side.
Oh, get a block.
Nice pitch back to the running back. Good 5-yard pickup that time. Nick Jung, the senior, 5'7", 155 on the carry. Tony Meyer on the stop.
Yeah, that was a what's called a lead option, where the quarterback just takes the ball, doesn't fake anything, and runs it straight down the field.
And Jeff Klemp trying to play the field position game, going to burn a timeout here on defense. At least force them to run one more play here into the wind.
Yeah,
Interesting gamemanship
I think that's a good call. I think that's a good call. The game is in their favor right now. They've obviously established that they can move the ball. Oak Creek has established that they are having trouble moving the ball. So we'll see what happens. They'll probably burn another timeout after third down and make them punt. So it's a kind of situation where coaches kind of earn their money tonight from that standpoint of making those kind of decisions. If it wasn't windy, he wouldn't be doing that.
3 turnovers on the night for Oak Creek. Interception that set up a field goal, a fumble that set up a touchdown, and then on special teams, a blocked punt returned into the end zone for a touchdown. And Sabres taking advantage. 22 seconds to play here in this first quarter.
They do have a one-on-one situation way out on the wide side with their wide receiver. I think he gets some time to throw it.
Velos going to keep it. Breaks the tackle across the 25, then is stood up and driven back at the 27.
Another timeout.
And another timeout taken by Franklin. Macon Plewa, the senior linebacker there for the Sabres. Do you see them burning all 3 here, Coach?
Yeah, I think that's obvious that they're probably going to do that. Otherwise, they just wasted 2 for no good reason. So I think that's what they'll do.
Well, we've been talking about these timeouts. Perhaps Mike McGivern can shed some light onto this.
Boys, I don't have anything on the timeout, but the crowd was just chanting Calhoun, Calhoun. They want him to put the number 2 on. I'm not sure he's got any eligibility left.
They still love Brian after all these years. Most popular guy in the stadium.
See if he's got any eligibility left. You know.
Well, 3rd down and short here for Oak Creek. Desperately needing a first down. And they'll get one and more. Out across midfield. Into Sabre territory and dragged down just short of the 30. Nick Jung on a big run. Vinny Bilk on the stop.
Oh, and there was a horse collar tackle on this play, and none of the officials were in position to see it. That would have been another 15 yards added onto this. Right here, watch the leads out. See him grab his shoulder pads. That's illegal. Oh, they did call it.
Yes, they did. The officiating crew right on it.
That's huge because it's outside the 30-yard line. They get the maximum penalty. That's huge. And after this play, the wind is going to switch to Oak Creek's favor.
So the 15-yard penalty will move it inside the 20. They'll put it in play from the 16. Now the clock will wind down here, and that should end our first quarter. All Franklin thus far until the final minute here this first quarter. We'll see if Oak Creek will be able to capitalize on this drive. Franklin on top 24-0 on the Allstate Thursday Night Lights on My 24. A 46-yard run by Nick Jung has set up the Oak Creek Knights here as we begin our second quarter, working it right to left with the wind at their back. Trying to get back into this football game. Turnovers have been a problem as they hand it off over the left side. Lincoln Wiley with the carry inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Alonzo Dentisi on the stop.
Oak Creek offensive line really got a good surge that time and was able to get some movement. Left side there of Tommy Jensen and Bill Canzaneri. Really got some movement there.
2nd and long here for Oak Creek. They need 8 here for the first down. Velos going to pass it. Ball in the air. Incomplete. Late penalty marker thrown on the pressure that time from the Franklin defender. Dentisi getting into the face of Velos. Let's see what the call is.
He was trying to hit his favorite receiver, Joey Gribble, and the ball carried away from him a little bit. It was a kind of a fade route, and he was rushed on the throw and didn't make the connection.
It's going to be a roughing the passer call here against Franklin.
Now that'll be half the distance to the goal line.
It'll go on the junior Dentisi that time. After Velos got rid of the football, a little extracurricular work. We'll move the football now down inside the 10-yard line. They'll spot it at the just short of the 5, and it'll be 1st and goal for Oak Creek.
They have to get 7 here.
Velos will keep it. Cuts it back at the hash mark, gets it down to the 2.
Yep.
Good runner, Velos. Freihoff there to make the stop, but Velos rushed for over 250 yards so far this season. He has 1 touchdown rushing.
Yeah, at 6 feet, 200 pounds, he's just like a running back. You don't trip him up, you're not going to arm tackle him. You got to put a shoulder on him and drive him backwards. They brought another lineman into the game.
Hands off to the fullback, gets to the goal line. It'll be a touchdown for Oak Creek. They are on the board.
Well, that's huge because now they've established the fact that they can move the ball down the field. They need to get the ball back as quick as they can without giving up any points and get back in this game.
4th touchdown of the year for Jamal McNutt. And Oak Creek taking advantage of the big run by Jung, and the extra point is on the way, and it is good. 24-7. So get a look at this one.
It's like they stuffed it in right behind the right guard and the right tackle. Rafael Saez and Jake Lambert. And that's exactly what it was.
A 7-play, 80-yard drive capped off by the McNutt 2-yard touchdown run, his 4th touchdown of the season. And Oak Creek giving their home fans something to cheer about here.
We'll see now if they can kick off into the end zone and give them the ball at the 20-yard line. Franklin does have a couple of guys that can run it back if they get a chance.
I would think you take advantage of this wind and try and put it into the end zone.
I'm sure that's what Coach Bartholomew has in mind.
2 outstanding return men here for Franklin in Walton and Oates.
They've been back there for a couple of years, so they know what to do with it.
So drift
returnable.
All the way back, returnable from the 2.
Going to
Walton
the left.
coming around the left side, has the
Got
return
room.
line set up out across the 20, 25, 30. Down the far sideline, Walton goes into Oak Creek territory and run out of bounds. Late penalty marker right there as he got it out just across the 45-yard line.
I believe that was the kicker that went over and made the play, and that was
You could see the
No, it
return
wasn't.
set up to the left side. They had the picket fence going, and Walton just able to
Stepped
escape
out of
that
one
first
tackle.
wave.
I can't see who comes in here and puts a hit on him right there. That was a nice hit. That is number 13. That might be a Boucher collision play for us. John Hammernick.
Yep, Hammernick,
And,
the kicker
he,
that
seems
time.
to be a little shaken up after that, but that was a
The Boucher big hit of our ball game right there on the sideline on Walton, but still being tended to is Hammernick.
It's exactly what Oak Creek didn't need to have happen, though. Instead of having the ball back at their deep in their own territory, they're going to have it at the 47-yard line. And as I said earlier, Oak Creek needs to get a stop here and get this ball back as quick as they can.
Got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty
Wow.
here against Franklin. Let's take a look.
I didn't see where that was, unless it was somebody on the sideline who did something. I don't know if they're through
Little
that
taunting,
flag.
maybe?
Not taunt. Number 8 there was giving the raspberries to.
Hammernick
guy on
under
the
his own
ground.
power able to jog it off from the far side. That is a good sign. Getting back under his own power and off to the Oak Creek sideline. Let's head down to the sideline. Mike McGivern.
Hey, so I'm watching Samantha Treater as she's interviewing people on sidelines, and I thought, what the heck, we'd interview her. You're involved in a TV workshop here at Oak Creek?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and how's it going? And you're a senior here. Tell me a little bit about the workshop.
Well, all we do is we videotape all school sports, and we edit it and make it into a movie for the school.
Excellent, Samantha. Thank you very much. Keep doing it.
That was a straight ahead running play to the quarterback. Barrett just kept it and went straight ahead over his right guard. Got about 2 yards. Nothing fancy, but you got to keep the defense honest.
So with the penalty, they start the drive inside their own 40, 2nd down and 6. Bartz again, same play, running it right up the middle across the 45, dives forward, picks up the first down near midfield. Extra effort that time by Bartz, the quarterback, going up the middle.
Somebody from the right. One of Franklin's linemen came off and just steamrolled one of the linebackers. I didn't catch his number, but he ended up doing a backward somersault. Franklin's a very senior-oriented offensive team. They've got a lot of guys who've played a lot of downs.
They'll go with 4 receivers. They'll stack 2 to each side here. On 1st and 10 from the 50, Bartz again breaks a tackle inside Oak Creek territory down to the Knight 46-yard line.
Well, that's 3 times in a row for the quarterback to carry on the keeper, and as valuable as he is, they feel that they're very confident that he can hold up under that kind of pressure. And he is a strong kid and has ran a lot of downs in his 3-year career here.
They'll stack 3 receivers here to the near side on 2nd down and 6.
Lance Barrett has gained over almost 2,000 yards in 2.5 years on the ground.
This time going to throw. Blitz on, gets out of it. Now dumps it over the middle, and the receiver falls down. That's a dangerous pass. Going back over the middle, off balance.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a Brett Favre type throw, I think. He's going to his right, throwing back to his left. Oftentimes those end up not in a good situation, but that one was overthrown a little bit.
Meyer, the intended target that time. Sets up 3rd and long now, 3rd and 6 for Franklin. They lead at 24-7, capitalizing on 3 turnovers in that first quarter.
Here's an interesting formation out. They got 3 receivers stacked behind each other.
Pump fakes, now comes back to Meyer, picks it up just before it hits the turf. Coming around near side is Meyer, and he's knocked down just shy of the 40, close to a first down for Franklin.
Just a little quick screen out there to Anthony Meyer, who's
very lucky to pick that one up. It was a low toss.
That was a good catch. He didn't go down on his knee. It would kill the play. 4th and short. Looks like they're going for it.
Like both Evans and Overland there to make the play. It is enough for a Sabre first down. Trying to get the chains untangled on that far sideline before they wind the clock here.
I think they'll give it to their running back.
Yep. Pollock again, stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
I believe he got enough to get the first down, though. Wait, there was a first down. I thought they were going for a first down, but they had a first down.
Not much there for Pollock on the handoff this time. Met right there at the line of scrimmage. Good strong surge by the defensive front for Oak Creek. 2nd down and 10. And Bartz will call the play at the line of scrimmage. Pollock again with the call, trying to spin out of a tackle. Nothing doing there. Small gain once again here for the Sabres. Interior play of that Oak Creek line, along with the linebacker Redland, able to make the play. Well, everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Students can sign a pledge at the Allstate booth at all of our Thursday Night Lights games, or they can go online to allstate.com/teen to get more information. Bartz rolling left, has a man out there, and it's thrown incomplete, nearly picked off the defender out there. That was Swatlowski, nearly had a pick. That would have been 6 the other way.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an ill-advised pass. I know if the defender got his hand on it or just thrown a little bit wide. It's on the far side of the field. It's hard to tell. But that's a good series right there of downs for Oak Creek, because they have got 4th and 8. And Franklin's not going to punt it. They got a 17-point lead. I think they feel they can take a chance here and go for the first down, and field position is not a big problem.
Empty backfield. Bartz from shotgun. Steps up with time, going far side, nothing doing, incomplete. Looking for Marcus Schlem, the intended target out there, so the Sabres turn it over on downs at the Oak Creek 38-yard line. So the Knights come out with good field position here and will now have the wind at their back to start a drive.
That was just a straight one-on-one pattern where the receiver went down and stopped at the first down marker, and the ball was overthrown.
So Oak Creek taking over on downs. Balos play action with time. Going to throw down the field. Man out there. It's incomplete. Broken up out there by Pat Donovan. 2nd down and 10. Mike McGivern down on the sideline. Who do you have?
Hey guys, we're here with Tony Rocco from Boucher Automotive. Tony, thanks a lot for being involved in this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Where are you located with Boucher?
We are on VW Franklin, Highway 100 in College.
And that's in Franklin. You don't mind if Oak Creek people come and buy cars from you, right?
Not at all. You hear them up in the stands? We appreciate it.
They're yelling Boucher. Hey, back up to the booth. Thanks.
Once again, thanking Boucher for joining us here on the All-State Thursday Night Lights telecast. Another short gain by McNutt that time. And Butler, the nose guard all-conference from a year ago, able to make the play. And Oak Creek once again facing 3rd and long.
Yeah, they threw on first, ran on second. Now they've kind of forced themselves to have to throw on third again. They do have the wind.
And they're going to take a timeout here, pocket over. Coach Bartholomew wanting to visit here. Make sure they're all on the same page. Coming off a tough loss last week to Kenosha Bradford. They actually had the lead early in that ball game, and Bradford just got rolling, particularly in the middle part of that second quarter, and taking full control in the third quarter last week.
Yeah, this is a tough 2-week span for them, having to play Bradford and Franklin back-to-back. About all you can say is that maybe the lesser part of the schedule is down the road for them, and if they can find a way to win 4 games, they can make the playoffs. But they certainly have their work cut out for them tonight. But it's not impossible, that's for sure.
So 24-7, Sabres on top. Oak Creek taking the timeout here. Gives us a chance to remind you that 9 years ago, Clark Kent began an epic journey to become the Man of Steel. With familiar friends and foes returning and a new dark force looming, you won't want to miss a moment of the final season of Smallville. That begins Friday at 7 on CW 18. Oak Creek 2 for 5 on 3rd down so far. Velos having to roll out and throws it incomplete into heavy traffic, and again contact between he and the defender as this rivalry starting to heat up, and Velos still having words with the defender out there for Franklin.
Well, the defender was making Pleva, and he made a clean play and put him on his back pretty hard, but we are playing football, and it wasn't a dirty play. Velos got up and tried to give him a 2-handed shot to the chest. Official decided he wasn't going to call a penalty. I think he could have, but he didn't. And so now it's 4th down and punting with the wind. We'll see how it goes. Last one was blocked. They're 1 man short. Now they've got it covered.
Ziegler to punt this one away. End over end. Owens will let it bounce. Takes a Oak Creek bounce and into the end zone.
Okay, here's an even up play by the kid from Franklin down here up about the 40-yard line. And now we're going to get a personal foul against Franklin.
So a 60-yard punt with no return. But we'll check out the penalty here. Flag on the near side. Greg Kindert, our official for tonight.
I didn't see exactly what happened, but I have a feeling by the reaction of the Franklin player that it was not going to be in his favor.
Yeah, block in the back, actually. Now he signaled block in the back to Oak Creek. I think that's got to go against Franklin here. He gave the wrong indication here. Jeff Klemp trying to get an explanation out of that.
Both coaches are trying to figure this one out.
I saw the signal block in the back, and
against the team that punted.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No.
So they will move it back from the spot of the foul.
Well, they're going against Franklin, so they obviously signaled wrong. So half the distance to the goal. Yeah.
Yep, block in the back. They'll put it down half the distance to the 10-yard line. So Franklin will have 6 minutes to go here in our first half, leading 24-7. All the scoring in that first quarter for the Sabres.
Opportunity is knocking here again for Oak Creek. They need to make something out of this field position.
And they'll hand it off. And Pollock gets out across the 10. Good strong run out short of the 15-yard line before he is dropped there.
Straight ahead give. run a little clock here. And if you're Franklin, you're trying to use the clock.
Prado given credit for the tackle for Oak Creek, but 2nd and 5 for Franklin. Double slot for receivers. Pollock the lone man in the backfield. Evans in motion, and they'll flip it out to Evans on the option play, coming around the left side across the 15, fumbles the football.
There it is.
Oak Creek has recovered
I think so.
at the 22. They get their first takeaway of the night.
Well, they brought the inside receiver back in motion, and he becomes the pitch man on the option.
That's Walton on the pitch. Look at him wave that football around.
Right.
You're just asking for trouble there. And Oak Creek trying to take advantage to get back into this one. We'll do so here with 5 minutes to go here in this
We'll give
second
Travis
quarter.
Ridlin the credit for that tackle and fumble.
24-7 Franklin. We'll be back after this on Allstate Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Our Real Fan Cam presented to you every week by Wendy's. Wendy's, you know when it's real.
I wonder where you get your hair done like that. Well, this is Oak Creek's break right here that they needed. Get a touchdown here, they can cut it to 10, and that puts them right back in the game with with a half and most of this quarter yet.
Oak Creek trying to take advantage of the fumble recovery, trailing by 17.
They have a one-on-one out here with their wide receiver on the corner here with a lot of room to work.
Before we get this play off, let's go down to Mike McGivern on the sideline.
Hey guys, listen to the Oak Creek coaches. They're pleading with their players. No late hits, no chippy plays. Take care of the ball, score here. They feel like they're back in the game.
Boy, almost on cue by Mike McGivern here as they nearly fumble the pitch on the option coming to the wide side.
Well, both teams are doing a good job of going at the quarterback and making him get rid of the ball on the pitch, and I think their timing is just not quite what they want. They're putting it on the ground.
Velos was going down just as he was getting that pitch off, and credit Young for staying with that and making the recovery. Actually turns out to be a 2-yard gain, 2nd down and 8 from the 18. Again, they'll hand it off. Trying to go up inside with the fullback.
Yeah, that's Brendan Butler again.
Harlan or Butler?
Yeah, that's I saw 78 get up, and that's him.
Harlan on the carry, Butler on the stop. So once again, Oak Creek in that 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. They've been 3rd and long most of the night here tonight.
Almost every series they've had to make a play in order to get a first down rather than being on schedule.
Little and Stokes split out to the far side, the right side. Velos going to run option, cuts it up inside the 15, short of the first down.
Making Plava. No, that's not Plava. That is Joel Kornhoff, who snuffed that out. He got turned up, but he just snuffed it right away. The linebackers from Franklin are very good players. They're good size. When they hit you, you go backwards, and I think you'll see that right here. Quarterback comes down, turns up, and bam, right there.
4th and 3. Oak Creek will go for it here, trailing by 17. And in motion to the near side. Velos rolling right now, tries to cut back up the middle. Nothing doing. Franklin defense had that read nicely.
Yeah, they were all over that. They tried to a little con game with some motion into the sideline and go away from the motion, but Franklin's defense is a 3-5 defense, and it's a balanced defense. They don't overload to strength, and they just had too many people there for their Oak Creek to block. There's the motion man, goes to the right. That was
Myers
who made that play.
So Franklin will take over on downs at their own 15-yard line. We're late here in the second quarter. Again, we'll be going against the wind here. Aritz will throw. And it's completed out to the far side.
Anthony Meyer.
Anthony Meyer tripped up, should have enough for the first down, a gain of 15.
It was a good throw and catch right there, and Meyer did a good job of breaking that tackle and getting a couple extra yards. We have a player down in the backfield here from Oak Creek.
So officials will stop play here for the injury timeout. Anthony Meyer, you see, a couple of receptions so far tonight.
Well, having him back is really makes this receiving core from Franklin. I can't imagine another high school who would have a better receiving core than Meyer and Oates and Walton.
Well, be sure to listen to the Wendy's Varsity Blitz Scoreboard Show Friday nights at 7 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Get updates and scores from all the area high school football games this Friday night on the Wendy's Varsity Blitz Scoreboard Show on 1250 WSSP. Still tending to the injured Oak Creek player. Coaching staff for Franklin looking at.
Well, Oak Creek is going to be talking about some chances that got away from them. They've had 2 chances to get down there and put points on the board, and it just really hasn't worked out either time, and which is probably the biggest difference in the game right now. They haven't taken advantage of their opportunities, and Franklin has.
Good to see Ziegler up under his own power, back to the Oak Creek sideline just below us. 1st and 10, Franklin from their own 30. Play action with time, looking to throw. Catch made by Walton inside the 30 down to the 25-yard line. Marwin Evans on the corner here in the near side in coverage, but Walton taking advantage.
Well, that was a perfectly thrown ball against the wind. And he was actually fairly well covered. If you'll see on the picture here that there was two defenders right there. One, and there's a second one coming in. They're making the tackle. But he did get behind him, and the ball was perfectly thrown.
Leads the team in receptions coming into this game with 16 on the year. Franklin on the move from the Oak Creek 25. Looking to throw on a slant that time, and the pass incomplete.
Yeah, that was well defended. I was looking for Walton again, but that defender was right there and got his hand in front of the ball, knocked it down.
So 2nd and 10 for the Sabres. Clock stopped, 2:40 to play, first half. Sabres with 24 points in the first quarter, taking advantage of 3 turnovers. Empty backfield here on 2nd down. Barretts will keep it and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good defense. Nick Marks was in there to make the play.
So no gain, 3rd and 10 here for Franklin.
I think Barrett showed you a little bit of his athletic ability there because he had 2 people all over him, and he almost got out of that and made a gain on it.
Alec in the backfield. Barrett's looking to throw. Far side, ball in the air, and receiver, defender, ball getting there at the same time, but it goes incomplete.
Well, that was a good route. It was a good throw. It was good defense, and the defense won out. I'm not sure. I think it looked to me like the receiver had it in his hand.
Swatlowski out there trying to, working on Oates, and that wind just held it up just a little bit.
Yeah, it was catchable. Questionable whether the defensive back was playing the ball or not. He might have been called for face guarding there.
Go on 4th down on the scramble. Gets out of it, still on his feet. Can run for the first down if he wants it. Got the pass off, and it'll go incomplete. That very close to being thrown beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Referee right there.
He kind of lost his bearing. He could have run for the first down.
So Franklin will turn it over on downs back to Oak Creek here with 1:48 remaining.
There's an example of what makes Barrett so dangerous, because he can make a bad play into a good play with his running ability, and he's a very strong runner, just like Velos is for Oak Creek. You have to knock him down. You don't trip him up.
First bank first down here for Oak Creek. Velos on the pitch, coming back near side. McNutt gets across the line of scrimmage, still on his feet, short of the 27-yard line.
Well, I don't know, let's see, that was Kornhoff. Joel Kornhoff is right there to gobble that play up.
He's been busy tonight on defense for Franklin. Oak Creek electing to let the clock continue to roll here as we get a look.
Option here to the left, to lead option, little pitch. Kornhoff was there. He didn't make the play, but at least slowed it up so everybody else could.
Velos scrambling right, looks to throw and completes out across his 40 to the 45-yard line. Nice pitch and catch that time. Gribble on the reception for Oak Creek.
That's the tandem that's been thrown for the last couple of years, and that's where Velos is at his best. Again, rolling to his right. Little flood pattern out there, and the middle receiver is wide open.
Gribble coming in with 9 receptions, 3 of them for touchdowns for Oak Creek. 1st and 10, Knights from the 45. Velos again. Nice snap. Gets it across the line of scrimmage. Short gain of 2.
Well, you can tell that Franklin is really concentrating on Velos' running, because every time he turns up, there is at least one guy looking him right in the eye, and usually 2, and he just is not going to, I don't think they're going to let him get away the way he's used to.
Brendan Butler that time, 6'1" senior nose guard for Franklin in on the stop. We got a timeout here taken. Stopping play here with 47 seconds to go here in this first half. And for the takeaway, the 3 turnovers in that first quarter, the difference right now in this ballgame.
Yeah, and as we watch Franklin here the rest of the night, their defense is very good. They move extremely well. And those front 7 or 8 guys have all got size, other than little Tony Meyer, the one outside linebacker, but he hasn't got size, but he's got blazing speed, which is a great asset as well. So this is a defense that a lot of teams have had trouble running on, and Oak Creek is having the same problem. They had the one long run there late in the first quarter, but that's about it. Double twins, now it's a passing formation, 2nd and 8.
Velos play action, rolls right with plenty of time.
Going
downfield, man wide open, can't connect. Incomplete, just overthrown. Looking for Stokes out there, running a post route that time, got behind the defense, but the ball just 2 yards overthrown.
Well, Stokes, it was a straight fly pattern, and he got behind the defense, and then he kind of put it on cruise a little bit, and actually the ball was just overthrown slightly. Good shot of the receiver, and just probably if the wind wasn't blowing, that's probably a touchdown.
Kept drifting in. Yep.
The wind will carry the ball that much.
Taking it away from Stokes that time. 3rd and 8 now for the Knights. Play action once again. Delivers and completes.
Nice.
Gets the first down and more. Inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line. Stokes again with a nice catch.
Yeah, that was a very nice play by Oak Creek. A little short pop pass on a little curl route. Was able to catch the ball, keep his momentum, and juke the defender and get the first down. I've got no huddle here.
Velos again, plenty of time. Delivers the football near side, incomplete.
Well covered.
Looking for Ryan Ungerek that time, the senior, 6'1", 164. Pressure coming up by Tomasino that time up front.
And Evan Walton playing a little defense here. In their nickel, they have the next back in. And he certainly knows how to catch the ball. We'll see if he can defend a little bit. I'm sure he can. They wouldn't have put him back there.
2nd and 10 from the Sabre 42-yard line. Velos again with time. Fires it over the middle, caught inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line.
That's Gribble again.
Yep, Gribble with the reception and another first down for Oak
crossing
Creek.
route.
Tony Meyer right there to put him on the turf. Knights with something going here late in the first half, and now Franklin will take their final timeout here. Trying to give their defense a little bit of a rest here with 19 seconds to go.
Well, Oak Creek has shown that if they spread it out a little bit, there's room to throw the ball. Maybe this is something they need to go to a little bit more rather than just late in the quarter. Good job by Franklin there of containing the QB and quarterback and making him step up and throw. But Gribble, if he can touch it, he's going to catch it. He's about as good a receiver as there is in this area.
Sabres out of timeouts. Oak Creek has 1 remaining. Again, the interception turned into points, a fumble recovery turned into points, and then the blocked punt returned into the end zone. The scoring in that first quarter, along with an opening drive touchdown for the Sabres. And
I can't remember how many timeouts Oak Creek has left, if any, but they have 1. Then they have to use the sideline. They have enough time to score, but they have to stop the clock after every down, either with an incomplete pass or getting out of bounds.
1st and 10. Velos again with time over the middle, and boy, throwing into double coverage as Velos was clobbered in the pocket that time, delivering that football.
Jamal McNutt lost his helmet on trying to block as well. That ball was thrown down the middle. That would have had to have been pretty much a touchdown, or they would have had to burn their last time out.
Ungerecht running the post route that time into double coverage, the intended receiver. So 2nd and 10, 15 seconds to go. First half. Bayless with a high snap. Looks left, now throws right. Looking for his receiver, Gribble, incomplete. Gribble that time overthrown as he was open just as he broke at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, he was down the field and he took a 45-degree turn for the right corner of the end zone, and there is room to throw the ball in there, but the ball was thrown a little bit too much over his head, and he couldn't adjust to it and make the play.
Dylan Nagalski, the free safety out there, trying to defend. So 3rd and 10 here.
They're still okay. They have enough time to get a first down and get another set of downs here.
High snap. Velos now looks to throw. Far side.
Get
Completes.
Stokes
still dancing around. Will get the first down just inside the 15.
They
Clock
need to
will stop.
Yeah, they took their time out. They only have 4 seconds.
I was going to say the clock stops on the made first down, and Coach Bart taking his time out right here. Not going to waste any time with that. Save some time on the clock here as we get a look at the replay.
Rolling to his right. Good throw and catch. One thing I would say, if you could, maybe Stokes would head for the sideline, get the clock stopped, but they had to get the first down first. I suppose there is a choice here. Do you kick a field goal and try for 3, or are you going to go take your one shot and go for a touchdown strike here? Let's see, the ball looks like it's going to be at about the 15-yard line. One shot from the 15-yard line, maybe a little too far. That would be a 32-yard field goal. They are going to
go for
line
the
up
field
for
goal.
the field goal.
Yep.
Okay. And the kicker shows he has enough distance. It's a she, is it? This is Bianca Alleron.
Bianca for a 32-yard attempt. Plenty of foot.
Wide left.
And it's going to be no good. Had plenty of distance, just wide to the left. And so the Sabres from Franklin coming to Oak Creek tonight, opening up a 24-7 lead here at the half, and all the scoring in that first quarter for Franklin.
That's for sure. They made hay while they had the wind, and they kind of messed around the second quarter and weren't able to finish things. Oak Creek had opportunities. I think that's the thing they're going to be talking about at halftime, missed opportunities.
Interception, fumble recovery, and a play on special teams,
Right.
the block punt, the undoing for Oak Creek in this first half.
That's for sure. Yeah, and Oak Creek, I think, will be receiving the ball to start off with, and so they'll have a shot if they're going to decide if they're going to put the ball in the air a little bit more. I think they've shown that they can move it in the air. They have guys who can run after they can catch it. They're protecting the quarterback quite well. All those ingredients give them a chance to be able to move the ball. So we'll see what they decide at halftime. And
let's go down to the sideline and Brian Calhoun.
I'm with Coach Bartholomew from Oak Creek. Coach, you're down 17, but you showed signs of life in the second quarter. What does your team need to do to really put more points on the board and put more pressure on
Stop
Franklin?
turning it over. I mean, period end, we have 2 turnovers that were 14 points. Should be 10-7. So that's pretty much what we got. We have stopped ourselves. Franklin's, good defense, but we're stopping ourselves.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck.
24-7, Franklin on top of Oak Creek through our first half of our All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. (24-7), Franklin on top of Oak Creek here in Oak Creek tonight. Our Thursday Night Lights from Allstate here on My 24. John Weiser and Dick Basham with you. And as we said, the 3 turnovers really the stat that jumps out at you, I should say, here as we look at the first half statistics.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Turnovers and missed opportunities. It's a combination of those two that gives Franklin a 24-7 score. The stats indicate that, of course, the passing yards for Franklin, 181. That's a big difference. Oak Creek has had a well-balanced attack. They both have 8 first downs. It's the long plays that Franklin has had. And that big 3 over there in that turnover column is, and I said to Oak Creek earlier that I thought Oak Creek needed to win that turnover battle, and they're losing it badly right now. But things can change in the second half. There's no reason Oak Creek couldn't have a great half, and Franklin maybe get overconfident and stumble around a little bit. So we'll see. Both teams have veteran seniors playing, and they know what it takes to win. So we'll see who can carry out their game plan.
Those 3 turnovers leading to 17 first half points, and that is your difference thus far. Breaking it down individually, Barrett's with a strong first half, 9 of 17, 181 yards passing. And Belos just 92 yards.
He came on at the end of the second half with a little flurry there and some nice catches and runs, and it was 7 out of 19, up to 92 yards. Joey Gribble's got 4 receptions for 71. Anthony Myers got 4 receptions for Franklin for 48 yards. Brady Oates has got 2 for 74. And that one long play really helped him out there with that big number. So it's right now it's Franklin's game. They have it in control, but they need to keep control of the second half.
That block punt recovered and returned to the end zone really took a lot of starch out of the Oak Creek team in that first half. They're trying to rebuild. They got some good drives going here, and now it's up to Oak Creek to get off to a very good start here to start the second half.
Well, that's one of the best football plays we have seen this year, and it has to be one of our plays of the game as we go through this. But Tony Meyer, I went to practice at Franklin on Tuesday, and they were working really hard on that, and I think they practiced that thing 8 times, and all 8 times he was right in there, and it worked out tonight. And the punter helped him out a little bit. The punter's right footer, and he walked off to the right. I'm sure they had scouted that, and he walked right into that block, and then Tony made the great play by coming back and picking up the ball and taking it in the end zone for the touchdown. One of the best plays I've seen this year.
17 points off of turnovers. The difference in our ball game through one half of play. Franklin leading Oak Creek by a score of 24-7 on the All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Sabres with a 17-point lead after one half of play here in Oak Creek. Right now we'd like to highlight a couple of very special students tonight. The Boucher Automotive Group, proud to bring you tonight's presentation of our Scholar Athletes of the Week. Tony Rocco from Boucher Automotive presented our Scholar Athlete of the Week to Lance Barretts from Franklin High School. Lance has a 3.725 GPA and is a member of the National Honor Society. He's a 4-year participant in baseball, football, and track, and was part of this summer's state baseball championship team. Lance has been active in Franklin's freshman mentoring program. Tony also presented a Scholar Athlete of the Week award to Eric Fleischman of Oak Creek High School. Eric has a 3.94 GPA. He is ranked 24th out of 469 seniors, participates in football, swim, track, and powerlifting. He is a member of National Honor Society, freshman mentoring, and student council, and active in his church. Tonight's Scholar Athletes will be in the running to receive a $5,000 scholarship courtesy of the Boucher Automotive Group. One of our weekly Scholar Athletes will be chosen to receive the award at the end of the season. 24-7, Franklin on top. Let's go to the sidelines with a very special guest and Mike McGivern.
Hey, we're here with John Legault, Community Service Specialist for Wisconsin DOT. John, thanks a lot for coming.
You're welcome.
Hey, you guys have a pretty cool machine over there called a rollover seatbelt convincer. Tell us a little bit about that.
What the seatbelt convincer does is it'll roll over up to 30 miles an hour, and we don't let people ride in it. I'll put a couple of crash dummies in it, maybe belt one in, leave one loose, and we roll it over, and you can watch what happens to you in a rollover. The belted person stays in. Normally, the unbelted will fly out.
You know, John, I didn't know what it was, so I came over to talk to you a little bit about it, and I told you I don't put my seatbelt on all the time. The stories you told me convinced me to make sure I start wearing that thing.
Well, I spent 28 years as a state trooper, and you go to many, many crashes, and there's a marked difference from the folks that are wearing seatbelts from the folks that don't have it on. If you don't have it on, it's pretty tough on you.
John, thanks a lot for being involved with this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Let's get to a break. On the other side of the break, we'll get back up to the booth for the second half of the game. This is the All-State Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week.
Gonna look at our crowd on hand tonight at Community Stadium in Oak Creek. Franklin Sabres leading Oak Creek by a score of 24-7, 17 points off turnovers in that first half for the Sabres. And very impressive early going in that first quarter, taking the win to their advantage, pinning Oak Creek back and taking advantage of a short field, particularly the interception return across midfield that led to the score, the recovered fumble, and then the real backbreaker, the block punt returned into the end zone for the score.
Well, that was as in the warm-up before the game, as a coach, what you do is check the conditions. If it's raining, that certainly can affect play. If it's windy, that definitely affects play. And if you're a passing team, that really can affect your play. And I think Franklin got lucky and won the toss, and so they were able to make the choice of deferring and put the pressure on Oak Creek to see whether they wanted to take the wind or take the ball. They chose the ball and got backed up, and it really it probably cost them a little bit, but with the turnovers that go along with it. So that's not to take anything away from Franklin. They certainly have earned every point they've got, but Oak Creek helped them out a little bit.
Well, before we get to the highlight package, just want to recognize this 195-member Oak Creek Marching Band. They put on a spectacular halftime show here tonight. Outstanding.
Yeah, they're terrific. They're excellent. Great investment for the community.
Well, as we look at the highlights from that first half, we talked about the win being the big thing here tonight. Oak Creek coming out in the all blacks here tonight, the black jerseys and the black pants after warming up in the blues. So trying to fire their side up, and they were pinned back early on. As we get a look at Velos trying to dump the ball out, gets off the nice completion out there.
Another great catch right here.
Yep,
that was pretty well defended.
Yep, that got him inside Franklin territory early on, but unable to capitalize. And then Franklin went to work on their first possession tonight, their first drive.
There, right.
Veritz was sharp early on. Again, found his man over the middle. Able to work both the middle of the field and then as well as working the hashes outside. So we get a look at the touchdown pass here.
This is a very nice throw. Just a little excellent throw.
Brady Oates. Get a different look at it this time on that nice
right
over-the-shoulder catch.
There you can see.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he made it. They made it look easy. It's not that easy, but they made it look easy. And they've been playing for 3 years together, so they do this every day in practice.
Second,
this is Anthony Myers.
That's the first play after the fumble recovery. That set up the field goal from 22 yards.
Right. That is a good kick.
And then another beautiful catch in the back of the end zone by Brady Oates, tight roping that back corner.
He also got a good shot of the quarterback running to his right and throwing that ball. That's not that easy to do either, because a lot of bad things can happen.
And there's that block punt, walked right into the defender coming in over that near side, and it was recovered into the end zone for the touchdown.
Right.
And Oak Creek getting their only touchdown here. A little dive play on the inside handoff.
Here's a good kickoff return by Walton to give him some good field position when they could have been backed up.
So The Sabres owning a 17-point lead here through one half of play. Let's head it down to the sidelines. Brian Calhoun.
I'm with Coach Klemp from Franklin. Coach, you're up 24-7, but what does your team need to do to finish this game off?
Well, that second quarter, Oak Creek played really well. We didn't get much going except for that one big play. We got to get back to the things that are working in the first quarter and kind of methodically move down the field and run some time off the clock.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
47-year rivalry between Oak Creek and Franklin. The second half coming your way next on the All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Our Real Fan Cam tonight presented to you every week by Wendy's. Wendy's, you know when it's real, and Wendy is here tonight.
Yes, she is.
Yes, good to have them on board for the All-State Thursday Night Lights. Now, situation developing here to start this second half, Coach. Oak Creek penalized for coming out of the locker room late. Could you explain that?
Well, that's the rule, and you don't see this very often, but there's a 15-minute halftime and then a mandatory 3-minute warm-up period, and the rule says you need to be out here for at least that 3-minute warm-up period. Well, Oak Creek got out here with less than a minute to go, and so they did flag them. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and they're going to be penalized 15 yards on the kickoff, it looks like. And they have chosen to kick. Oak Creek has chosen to kick off and take the win and kick to Franklin right away. That's an interesting situation, too. I think they're hoping that the same thing will happen for them that happened for Franklin to start the game. I don't think the wind is blowing quite as hard now as it was then. It's still a significant wind, but I think it was a little bit stronger to start the game.
Yeah, we were experiencing gusts up to 30, 35 miles per hour earlier this afternoon and into the early evening, but seems to be a steady breeze of at least 20, 25 miles per hour continuous out of that southwest. That's going to, again, affect play going left to right as you view it here on
There's always also a chance that Oak Creek has scouted and feels that they might have an onside kick or something that they could sneak in here on to start the half and maybe make a big play, recover an onside kick. That would be that's can happen. We'll see, I guess, when they tee it up.
And again, hate to harp on the point, but the points off turnover is really the difference. Otherwise, this is an even ball game.
Yeah, I would say for about 2/3 of the first half, it was a fairly even game. The other third, though, it got pretty ugly and for Oak Creek in Franklin's favor with the turnovers that they forced.
Now with the 15-yard penalty, this will force Oak Creek to kick off from its own 25.
Right.
Again, that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for coming out for the warm-up period late.
To a certain extent, that nullifies the wind advantage that they have because Franklin is probably going to get the ball very near the 50-yard line. So, it's one of those things. Coaches have to make decisions, and I think they had decided that they were going to do it this way, but I don't think they were planning on the 15-yard penalty.
And we're underway here for the second half.
Yeah, they got lucky there.
And it'll bounce into the end zone and go for the touchback as it went over the head of Walton.
Yeah, that was, I think, Coach Klemp, I would talk to him. I think that ball should have been fielded because that took away pretty much any advantage that they had from the penalty.
This will be our First Bank Financial Center, our first down sponsor this season. First Financial Banking Center. Discover the community bank difference. Welcome them aboard this year. Barrett's 9 of 17 in that first half for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, this is a little different. Now they're doing some shifting after the alignment. You see the defense scrambling to rematch.
Try and match up trips here to the near side on 1st and 10 from the 20 to start our third quarter. Try and set up a screen. It completes the pass out to Pollock. Pollock out across the 30, down the far sideline to midfield, and he stumbles just shy of the 50-yard line.
I think that's the first screen pass we've seen this year in 5 games, and that was very well executed.
Like Swatlowski was there to make the tackle, but yeah, you're right. The first screen pass thrown by Franklin tonight.
It wasn't a great throw, but it was a very good catch by Pollock, and he took it down to the 48-yard line. That's huge right there.
28-yard pickup on the opening play to start this third quarter. Barrett's from shotgun.
Option.
Going to pitch it back. This is Walton coming back near side, has an angle across midfield, breaks a tackle to 45. Inside the 35, still on his feet, down to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, that's the same play they ran in the first half and fumbled the ball. As also good block downfield by Marcus Schlimm.
Travis Redland finally brought him down, but not before he rumbles it down to the 22-yard line of the Oak Creek Knights.
Now, that's a play I saw him working on in practice when I was out there this week, and they've seen something where they bring him in motion and they take advantage of the imbalance in Oak Creek's defense.
And for receiver look, Barrett's with time, going to swing it out far side, a catchable pass that was dropped.
Yeah, it's just a little behind him, but I think knowing the talent of Anthony Myers, he probably should have caught that.
2nd and 10 from the 22. We're just underway second half, 24-7. Franklin taking the opening kickoff here.
There's that stack out there. Last time they ran a bubble screen off of this.
3-man stack, 3 receivers to the left side. Fake to Pollock. Barrett's on the scramble, breaks out of a tackle. Now cuts it upfield. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
Well, we can credit Derek Ziegler on that. He was in to force Barrett's to go wide, which allowed the defense then to recover and be able to make the play for a very little gain.
Give him one. 3rd and 9 for the Sabres.
One with that three stacked receivers out here again. It's really not much different than a normal trips formation. It's just a little confusing maybe for the defense.
Barrett's again with time. Pump fakes now up the middle. Inside the 20, 15 to the 5. Touchdown, Franklin. Barrett's with a strong run up the middle. The pump fake throws the linebacker and the secondary.
Well, that's
and Barrett's able to rumble it in from 22.
That's his 28th rushing touchdown in 2.5 seasons, and he's thrown 50 touchdowns. Well, actually more than that now, probably 52 touchdown passes. So he's no stranger to running with the ball, and that's a huge asset when you have a quarterback that can take a play that's in trouble and turn it into a 22-yard touchdown.
And the extra point makes it 31-7. Franklin, they take the opening kick to start our second half on 5 plays. The 28-yard screen pass that set him up at midfield. 5 plays, 80 yards in a minute 22. Barrett's going in from 21.
Well, he went 50 of those 80 yards on 2 plays. So they're a very explosive team.
But taking advantage and doing what they needed to do to regain control of this game. We saw Oak Creek late in that second quarter starting to gain some footing offensively, and they needed to put a stop to that immediately here, get a quick score to start this second half, and put Oak Creek back on its heels once again.
My philosophy when I was coaching was on offense was to 2 things. It's a big field, make them cover the whole thing, and second, take what the defense is giving you, and that is Jeff Klem's philosophy, is to take what the defense gives you, and they're getting them spread out and they're creating holes, and then they're dumping the ball to their good athletes in open space and letting them run. And this is a team that has as many good athletes as anybody around, and I think it looks like we're heading for a pretty big matchup on week 8 when we see Franklin play Bradford down in Kenosha.
Against the wind, this one will hang up. Wiley will run under it across his own 20, out to the 25, and that's it. So Oak Creek 1st and 10 from their own 25, their first possession to start the second half.
Well, the wind held that ball up, which allowed the coverage team to get down the field and stack that up without too much difficulty.
Velo 7 of 19 for 92 yards, passing in that first half. Now trailing 31-7. Get something, jumpstart, get this crowd back into it here. And Velos on the keep, turns it upfield across the 30, and nearly broke it as he was finally brought down at the 34-yard line. Going to be just short of the first down. Nogalski, the free safety, coming up to bring him down.
Well, and he was the last guy that had a chance to make the tackle. Otherwise, that would have been about a 75-yard run. That's got to be a little encouraging to Oak Creek. Here you see Nogalski right here make that play because there was nobody else who really had an angle on him, and Velos can run.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Roll Velos out, going to pass it out far side, complete. Out to that far side.
He's gone.
On the run down the far sideline is Stokes. He'll go all the way. Touchdown, Oak Creek.
Wow.
Nick Stokes, once he got across midfield, put it in third gear down the far sideline. It'll go as a 66-yard touchdown pass.
Just a little roll to the right and a short pass. It was 2nd and 1, a great down to throw on, because a lot of times people are thinking, well, 2nd and 1, they're going to get the first down. They threw the ball, and Stokes juked the first guy and went right down the sideline. That was a nice play, and that's exactly what Oak Creek needed, to be quite honest with you. And that's Bianca Alarcon with the extra point.
Well, 31-14. Oak Creek did what it needed to do, and that was answer the touchdown by Franklin, and Nick Stokes did it big time. 66 yards.
In case you're wondering if they have a boy named Bianca on the Oak Creek team, no, they don't. It's a young lady who's actually their extra point kicker all the time, and she kicks very well. Glad to see it. Well, now it'll be interesting to see what Franklin does. Oak Creek can't exchange touchdowns. That won't work out for them. They need to get a stop here and get the ball back, and they need another big play really to get it down to. They're down 17 to get it down to about 10 if they can.
Too early to think of perhaps an onside kick here?
Well, I looked at the alignment, and there is a space across from the ball, but those 5 guys up front are not moving 1 inch. And in order to dump one in there on a little poocher or squib kick, you need to have somebody running out of there, and I just don't see that happening right now. And you've got number 7, number 28, and 21, all skilled athletes right across from the ball. And the reason they're there is if you do a little squib kick, right, they know how to handle the ball. So I don't think Oak Creek will onside it. Need to kick it in the end zone. That's what they need to do. Nope.
It'll be returned here. Alton trying to get to the 10 on the far side. Now cuts it up 15, breaks the tackle 20. Out across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
It was a good return considering he had to run about 40 yards to get 30.
So spotted at the 26 as we get a look at this one. Walton with a nice return.
Somebody's a little gimpy over there and went down on the sideline from Franklin. It looked like it might have been Walton. I'm not sure. He was trying to walk off the field and then decided he couldn't walk anymore.
Might be cramping up just a bit. The humidity here tonight going to lead to some problems, I think, here in the second half.
I think you're right. That is a cramp. And they need to get some water in that young man.
Well, everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Students can sign a pledge at the Allstate booth at all of our Thursday Night Lights games, or they can go online to allstate.com/teen and get more information.
Just before you went to that, there you had a shot of the back of Oak Creek's helmet, and you see there's 3-digit numbers. Those are not zip codes or area codes or anything like that. Those are the sum of the 3 major lifts that these guys have in the weight room: a bench press, a squat, and a deadlift. They take the totals of the 3 and add them up, and they put that on their back of their helmet as an incentive for them to get in the weight room and lift, because the bigger the number, the stronger you are. There you can see it right there, 826, 902. You'll see a couple of them that actually have 4-digit numbers on there. Those are the big eaters and the big lifters.
Still tending to Walton on that far sideline, trying to work out the cramp, and I can't think of anything more painful as cramping up, especially in the calf area. That just shoots up that leg, and boy, it's just paralyzing.
It's pretty hard to reach down there and pull your toe back. That's what you have to do to get that muscle to relax, and it just takes time. It's not a season-ending injury or a game-ending injury, but he will need to get some water in him, otherwise it's just going to come back. Some Gatorade would certainly help.
Well, Franklin in a three-way tie coming into the game here tonight for first place in the Southeast Conference with Kenosha Tremper and Kenosha Bradford. And really an important game here for Oak Creek, knowing that they need to finish at least above 500 in conference play to make the WIAA playoffs.
Yeah, that's for sure. You have to win 4. They have 8 teams in their conference, so that's 7 games. So
we got Walton taken care of over on that far sideline. Sabres ready to go. 31-14 leaders here. Garrett's play action coming back across the middle, completes the pass near side.
That was a little crossing pattern to the tight end. That's making Pleva. He does play a little bit both ways. And he was wide open. That's a good call.
Picks up 2, 2nd down and 8. I'll stack those 3 receivers over to the left side once again.
Is Oates or is Walton back in the game?
They're still, it looks like working on him over on that sideline. Barrett's going to toss it out, complete. Out to the far side.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And Schlem down the far side. Check that. That is Meyer. Anthony Meyer running it into Oak Creek territory down to the Knight.
That's a tough formation to defend because of they get 2 instant blockers on the defenders. By the time somebody gets in position, the receiver, especially if he gets to the outside, but the only thing you can do is force him inside where he's got more help. But he gets outside, it's going to be a long game.
They marked him out right at midfield. So stepping out at the 50-yard line. Once again, Franklin on the move. Barrett's tonight coming into this drive, 242 total yards and 3 touchdowns. And whistled down.
Looks like Pollock again, a 3-yard gain. Franklin doesn't have a lot of running plays. They have one where they give it to him and one where the quarterback keeps it, and that's about it. They probably have a misdirection play they haven't shown yet tonight. But you don't have to have a lot of running plays when you spread everybody out. You just need to have some linemen that can make space and give it to the ball carrier who can find the space.
All just short of the Oak Creek 45, 2nd down and 6 for Franklin. Trips here to the near side. Barrett's with time, going over the middle. Ball tipped, knocked away, incomplete. Nice read by the linebacker, dropping back in coverage.
Could have been a pick right there. That would have been nice.
Kepsel, I believe, got a hand on it.
He will get a look at it.
Barrett's
it's a real
again.
simple pass.
He had time and didn't see Kepsel backing up.
That was Kepsel.
So 3rd and 6. Here they come off the edge. They pick it up and complete the pass out to the far side. This is Brady Oates with the catch near a 1st down, just near the 40-yard line. Swatlowski there to make the tackle.
Well, that play was designed exactly for the purpose of getting a 1st down. So the receiver goes, it's about a 3rd and 6 on that play. He goes down about 7, maybe 8 yards and turns around and makes the defensive back think he's going to go deep. Quarterback throws the ball on time. It's pretty hard to stop that play.
Gain of 7 and a 1st down for Franklin.
And when you've got 2 guys that have been doing that for 3 years, it's even more difficult to stop.
3 receivers here to the right.
There's that misdirection play I just alluded to a few minutes ago.
And read nicely by the Knight defense that time, as Pollock will be dumped for a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, they sniffed that out real well, but that's a logical play to run because they've been running the give straight ahead, and now quarterback goes right, back goes left, and a little crisscross action, and they give it to the back, but didn't fool anybody on that.
Joswiak with a nice play for the Knights on defense. 2nd and 15 upcoming here for Franklin. Approaching the 7-minute mark remaining here in the 3rd quarter. As they swing it out, Meyer again with the catch wide open, breaks a tackle inside the 40, still on his feet down to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, he's a real problem. When he gets the ball in open field, not only is he fast, he weighs about 195 pounds, and he runs really well.
Let's get a look at this one again. Swinging it out to Meyer here on the near
Just a little
side.
dump off. Well, that was the ball was behind the line of scrimmage, so that was not interference downfield. You saw the block on the defensive back by the other receiver, but since the ball's behind the line, it's not interference, and it's considered a screen type play. So that's legal and very difficult to defend.
Pickup of 16 and a first down by Meyer. Ball spotted just inside the Oak Creek 30-yard line.
Now they're taking their tight end and flexing him out to the left with Anthony Meyer. There'll be Pleva out there. See him checking their wristband to see what the play is.
4 receivers, 2 slots. And Barrett's going to swing it out looking for Pollock. Incomplete. Thrown behind his running back that time.
That was a screen pass to the left, and that was pretty well sniffed out.
The doctor is in, and he's still as funny as ever. Don't miss your favorite episodes of Frasier tonight, right after the game on My 24. 2nd and 10 facing the Sabres here.
I'm a little surprised they're putting the ball in the air so much. They're stopping the clock when it's an incomplete pass.
Barrett's taking his time at the line of scrimmage. Stack formation to the left with 3 receivers, and now what do we have? Officials.
Well, they're saying that somebody in the crowd has a whistle and they're blowing it, and that's
that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Bad enough having 5 whistles on the field. No, I shouldn't say it that way, I guess. The officials do a great job. I'm not trying to demean him at all. There he goes.
Barrett's on the run, 20 to the 15, tries to get to the outside and ushered out of bounds just short of the 10-yard line. Barrett's with a nice run. Evans able to escort him to the boundary that time for Oak Creek.
Tell you, next August when Coach Klemp wakes up and the first day of practice, he's going to realize how much he misses this young man right here. 3 years, you get real spoiled.
You know, for a quarterback, he finishes his runs. He just lowers the shoulder. Most quarterbacks, the minute they get contact, they either want to go down or take it to the sideline and avoid the contact, but he relishes the thought of trying to take on the tackler. Empty backfield here now. On 1st and goal from the 10, they try and swing it back near side. Incomplete. Looking for Brady Oates here on the near side. Was covered well by Evans.
You know, going back to Lance Barrett, he's a 3-sport athlete. He runs track in the spring. He ran in the state track meet this year on, I think, one of their relay teams. He was a center fielder, captain of the baseball team. He's been captain of the football team for 2 years. He's a scholar athlete. Those kind of guys they don't grow on trees. You get them and you ride them as far as you can, and pat them on the back and say thanks for the memories. And that's coming down the road in November for this young man in Franklin.
They'll keep it, trying to follow Pollock inside the 5. Down to the 4 is Barrett's with a nice strong run, using that running back as his fullback, if you will, leading him to the hole. Kepsel again on the stop for Oak Creek.
And just the fact that they take him and just run him up in there shows you what they think of him. He's a fullback. He's a running back. He's besides being a quarterback, you might be thinking they're playing with 1 running back in the field, but they're not. They're playing with 2 running backs and 4 receivers, which makes it very difficult for the defense.
3rd and goal just inside the 5. Barrett's now 314 total yards tonight, and we've got a timeout taken by Franklin.
Yeah.
A little confusion trying to get that play in. I think Jeff Klemp.
A little indecision, I think, on what they wanted to do down there.
Wisely calling the timeout. You're in the red zone.
Exactly.
We'll step out here with just over 5.5 minutes remaining 3rd quarter. Sabres leading the Knights 31-14 on All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 20. (31-14), Franklin on top of Oak Creek. Here in Oak Creek, part of our All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Franklin facing a critical 3rd down. They are 4 of 7 on 3rd down coming into this sequence here.
And the wind is picking up a little bit more than it was. I think it's back up in that 25 to 30 mile an hour range. Franklin's 4 out of 7 on third down conversions here.
Pollock alone back in the backfield. Drag a man in motion to the far side. Barrett's with time, looks to throw.
Wow.
Threaded the needle beautifully for the touchdown.
Exactly.
Playwa with the beautiful catch. Boy, that went through one defender. Had a little bit of deflection on it, and Playwa stayed with it.
I don't know who it was, but there was a linebacker or defensive back who's saying to himself, wow, I could have been running 105 yards for a touchdown if he had picked that off.
First touchdown reception of the year for Playwa as we get a look at this.
Right through there. I still didn't catch the number of who that was, but it was right by his nose.
Playwa with the catch, his first touchdown reception of the year, and the try for the extra point is on the way, and it is good as we get another look at this beautiful pass from Barrett's to Playwa.
Yeah, this is a good view. It's going to be right behind the throw. The 37, that is Travis Redlin. Wow. You might have a dream about that one tonight.
Nice drive here for the Sabres. 12 plays, 74 yards. They only had to convert 2 third down on that drive.
You see the guard and the cheerleaders doing their push-ups.
Getting their workout here
38
tonight.
of them, they're going to be feeling good.
38-14 now in favor of the Sabres.
Well, it's pretty obvious Oak Creek is probably not going to get back in this game, so what they need to do is work on some things, because the rest of the season in front of them, they have to win 4 games to get into the playoffs. It's certainly doable.
Check out the Wendy's Varsity Blitz High School Football Coaches Show. That's every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Mike McGivern and Joe Cook will talk to different coaches each week. Saturday mornings at 10 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Wind will hold this football up long enough for the return man to take it out across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. Swatlowski with the return, Fryoff with the tackle. Well, Oak Creek needs to get this crowd back in its favor. Franklin with 2 touchdowns here in this third quarter have pretty much wrestled away home field advantage. From the 31, movement up front before the snap. Tommy Jensen, the left guard, may have fired out of his stance. There you go. There's one of your 4-digit numbers.
10-27. Yeah, that's over a 300-pound average on those 3 lifts. So imagine he's got at least a 400-pounder in there in the deadlift, maybe.
That's the 5'9" running back, Jamal McNutt.
Well, yeah, he's a very good running back. He hasn't had a lot of room to run tonight, but he's their best running back. He's obviously been in the weight room a little bit.
1st and 15 following the motion penalty, and
there he is,
they'll
right
try
there.
and run it up the middle, get 5 plus 5 more back. It's Nick Young. Vinny Bilk able to make the stop.
You know, Young is only a 155-pounder, but he also is very quick off the ball, keeps his shoulders down, and he pushed the pile pretty well on that for just a little guy.
2nd and 5 for the Knights at their own 35-yard line. Galos going to hand it off. McNutt, nothing doing. Driven back, trying to work the right side. 3 Sabre players there, ready to take him on, led by Macon Playwa again, along with Tim Gross, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, Gross has had a very good game. He is very active and he's very quick. Very impressed by how he plays out there.
They'll give him forward progress across the 35. It'll set up a 3rd and 4 for the Knights. They trail now 38-14. Trying to climb back into this one. Play action. Velos with time, breaks a tackle.
Has a guy out.
They're thrown at his ankles, though, incomplete.
Yeah, another receiver on the outside, too, that was open.
Nogalski out there in coverage. I believe it was Stokes, the intended receiver.
Yeah, it was.
And Nogalski was right there. The pass was thrown low. And so quickly, Oak Creek with a 4th down.
He had his favorite receiver, Joey Gribble, out on the outside edge. Very, very open. He just didn't pick him up. And as a result, we're going to have a punt. We think.
Well, he had trouble earlier. Derek Ziegler.
One thing you notice here, the Oak Creek punter is only 10 yards back. Most punters are at least 13 yards deep.
He's going to have that wind at his back here on this punt. And they're short a player.
Yep,
they have to call a timeout because they were short on special teams, and Coach Bartholomew not at all pleased with the way things have gone here tonight for Oak Creek.
You lose a little concentration when the game gets to this point, and you're.
So a costly timeout here coming on special teams.
Right.
Trying to get the punt unit on. Should get a good look at Coach Klemp and his coaching staff mulling things over here for their next offensive series.
Seem to have having a serious discussion about something. I don't know if it's what they want on their pizza after the game or.
Probably the fact that they still have to play Tremper and Bradford down the road here.
Right. This conference is very tough this year. There's some great athletes in the Southeast Conference this year. Some of them are here tonight. Tremper has some good players as well. They had I know a transfer running back in that I understand is pretty good.
Tony O'Gully, he is outstanding. Yeah, he's done it all.
Of course, Bradford had an up close and personal situation with Bradford last year. They have got some tremendous athletes. I'm really looking forward to that game in week 8.
See if Ziegler can ride the wind here. Just got that one off.
Get the bounce.
Yep. Olds will take on one hop. Breaks a tackle across the 25.
Behind you.
Looking for some help. Gets it out to the 31-yard line. An 11-yard return here for Oates. And so Evans with the stop, and Franklin pretty good field position here late here in the 3rd quarter, leading 38-14.
I think there was a smart play by Oates. He calculated risk there. There was a defender come down the field, but he had got a good bounce out of it, and decided to field it and was able to juke the first guy and get about 10 yards.
Barrett's coming back out, the senior quarterback for Franklin.
They actually have another senior quarterback who's a very good quarterback. On a lot of teams he'd be the starter, but he's been playing behind Lance.
3 receivers to the left on 1st down. Barrett's now going to scramble, going to run right into a defensive lineman.
No room on that one.
Nothing doing there. Alex Hahn, I believe, the sophomore, 6'1", 227, got a hand on him for a 2-yard loss. 318 total yards tonight and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
One of them on the ground.
Not a bad day's work. We've still got 15 minutes to go in the game. I would imagine as the game goes on, they'll probably put their other quarterback in and give him some chances.
2nd and 12. Pollock struggles to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Got those 2 yards back. It'll set up a 3rd and long for the Sabres. Clock rolling as we get under 3 minutes to play here in this 3rd quarter.
That's just the basic play they run is called a zone read play, and what the quarterback does is put the ball in the running back's stomach, and then he looks at the defensive end, and if that defensive end comes down on the running back, in theory he pulls the ball and keeps it. Doesn't always work that way, but that's a theory. So it's an option type play, and they run it very well, and it's a pretty simple play, and after a lot of practice you get pretty good at it.
Derek Ziegler with the tackle. 2nd team all-conference a year ago for Ziegler. Barrett's in trouble, and down he goes back near the 25-yard line. Jake Joswiak with the sack back at the 26, and Franklin a 3 and out. Looked like protection broke down early on that play.
51 is unblocked as well. Now that was not a good offensive series for Franklin.
So one of the few times tonight Franklin.
Very conservative.
Jake Ritz with the punt.
I think this is their first punt.
And a bobbling catch finally brought down at the 40-yard line. So
that's Swatlowski,
yep,
I think.
Swatlowski with
right.
the juggling act there near the 40-yard line. So
but he
Oak Creek
did the right thing, though. He needed to field that.
Yep. Good field position here for the Knights. Their best to start a drive this evening at the Sabre 40-yard line.
Well, let's see if they put it in the air. They're in their running formation, but they have twins out to the right. They are.
Balos going to throw. Comes back far side. High pass brought down. Nice reception. Takes it down the far side and out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
It was Ryan Ungerecht, I think.
Yep, Ungerecht, the senior, 6'1", 164.
Showed good hands. That was a tough throw right over to the top of your head. Sometimes it's hard to catch because you lose track of the ball because your helmet blocks the vision. And it's sometimes hard to get your hands together because you've got shoulder pads on, but he made a nice catch there.
Gain of 14 for Ungerholt on the reception, or Ungerecht, I should say. From the 26, 1st and 10, Oak Creek. Balos will keep it. Cuts it up the hash mark inside the 25 to about the 24. Short pickup of 2. On the stop for the Sabres, Tomasino, the defensive tackle.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that Franklin has decided that Velos is not going to beat him with his feet. If he's going to beat him, it's going to be rolling out and throwing the ball. They've done a very good job of just containing him.
They'll line up 3 receivers here to the near side. Velos will work from shotgun. They pick up the blitz. Now Velos on the scramble. Breaks a tackle inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Short of the first down. He was able to scramble it up the middle.
That was what's called a pistol formation where the quarterback's in the shotgun and his back is behind him, running back is behind him. And that was kind of a broken play. He was able to make it into something worthwhile. Same situation, running back's right behind him. Quick throw, that's
far side, picked off.
I don't think they'll catch him.
This will be 6 coming back the other way if they can catch him.
Cuts back.
Meyer still on his feet inside the 30. Fumbled the football, and I believe Oak Creek got it right back.
Yes, they did.
And Oak Creek will recover the fumble off the interception.
Now that's, I feel bad for Tony after all that work.
We'll take a look at it here. Walked right into that.
Yeah, that was a bad throw. Got a little convoy going down the sideline here.
Watch what happens here toward the end.
Tries to get the extra yard. He's not a running back. He's a defensive back. He's handling the ball pretty well, but number 2 grabbed the ball and jerked it out.
It was Velos, the quarterback, that got it right back. They come right back on a pass play out across the 45, short of midfield.
Well,
Hoffmeyer there.
Oak Creek didn't flinch. They just took it, threw it back down the field.
Jordan Hoffmeyer, his first reception tonight. Big target, 6'6", 163. Right. Oak Creek trying to hurry up here, take advantage of the wind here for the final 8 seconds.
No huddle.
Balos with time now breaks down, trying to get out of it. They bring him down by the towel back at the 40-yard line as time will expire here in the 3rd quarter. 38-14, Franklin on top of Oak Creek as we head to the 4th quarter. Back with 4th quarter action on the Allstate Thursday Night Lights on My 24. (38-14), Franklin leading heading into the 4th quarter with Dick Basham, John Weiser with you. An interception, then a fumble recovery, so Oak Creek keeping possession here. To start this 4th quarter, they face a 2nd down.
I got to give Oak Creek credit. They're still playing hard. They're not crawling in the shell and just protecting the ball and trying to get the game over. They're going for the throat, so to speak. And I have to give Coach Bartholomew and his staff credit for keeping them focused.
Trips to the far side here on our first play of the fourth quarter. They'll run option as they pitch it back, coming to the running back across the 45. Back to the original first down stick at the 48. Nick Jung, 5'7", 155 on the carry. Aaron Reichoff there to make the stop defensively.
Yeah, that's just a little lead option towards the trips. They got 3 blockers out there. And a fairly simple play. Quarterback just runs at the first defender, and when he commits to tackling the quarterback, he pitches the ball.
Kornoff shaken up on that play, heading over to that far sideline. Linebacker for Franklin being tended to.
Well, he's a very good player. They would certainly miss him if he's out for any length of time.
He was under his own power walking to that far sideline, being
Might have had
tended
a
to
little
by
bit
the
of
training
the
staff.
wind knocked out of him or something like that.
3rd and 10 for the Knights. Velos from shotgun. Going to scramble up the middle. Nice play defensively there for the Sabres. It's Pleva again,
Pleva.
the linebacker, able to step up and make the tackle for maybe a 1-yard pickup. The senior, 6'2", 211. We talked about him in our pregame tonight, Coach. He's quite an active player back there defensively.
Yeah, and I just see that Kornoff came back in the game, so he's fine. Yeah, he is a good player, and he's in the right place at the right time. He reads his keys very well. Always around the ball. That's what a good linebacker. They just have a nose for the ball. That's how you pick them. You know, they.
4th down, they'll go for it. Play action. Velos on the scramble. Being chased. Now dumps it out, incomplete. Looking for Stokes here on the near side, but that play busted up. Once again, Pleva there. So change of possession will give Franklin the football. Gives us a chance to remind you that everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Students can sign a pledge at the Allstate booth at all of our Thursday Night Lights games, or they can go online, allstate.com/teen, and get more information. Sabres now with this high-powered offense need to work some clock here.
Oh, they got.
Barrett's with time. He has a man open. Oates wide open inside the 20. He'll take it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, he was very open.
1 and 3, I'll tell you what.
I tried not to say anything while that was happening because I might give up the play. But no, he was wide open going across the field. I don't know what the shot is here, but somebody missed an assignment here on the pass coverage.
I think that's what they call running naked in the secondary there.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Excellent throw,
alone.
too. Yeah, that was a well-conceived play.
5th touchdown of the year for Oates.
I think we need to give some love to the offensive line from Franklin. They have protected Barrett's very well and given Pollock some room to run. That's Craig Christian, Tim Rutkowski, Jake Ritz, Ben Duquetz, and Levon Myers. Those guys have done an excellent job tonight.
Extra point makes it 45-14. And any thought of an Oak Creek comeback now, I think, has been muted.
Yeah, that would be pie in the sky at best.
Brady Oates tonight, 4 receptions, 150 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That might just be one of our nominees for player of the game later on.
Well, you have to be considered, that's for sure. I think what you're seeing in the Southeast Conference, the cream has come to the top, and it's not a surprise. It's the 2 Kenosha teams, Tremper and Bradford and Franklin, and that's pretty much what was predicted at the beginning of the season. And so it's a matter of how they're going to finish. If there's going to be a tie, if they could all knock each other off and have a 3-way tie, can Franklin or Bradford go all the way to the end without losing a game. It's going to be very exciting.
Kicking with the wind will one-hop this one through the end zone for the touchback. So once again, Oak Creek from their own 20. It's been a rough 2 weeks here for Oak Creek. They've had to face Bradford, and they come up against their big rival here, Franklin, tonight. They gave up over 50 last week, 45 here tonight. And they still have a lot of football left. They still have a chance. Again, 9-game season in an 8-team conference.
Right.
You got to go 4-3 to be eligible for the playoffs.
Exactly. And they have and Mike Bartholomew is a veteran coach. He's been coaching for 25 years. Just 4 years here. But he's been through some wars, and I think he and his staff will keep these guys focused, and they're going to get some wins as they go down the line here.
Swing it out far side. Back Freijof there to make the play. Short gain though. They've gotten 3. Underect again, the intended target out there. It's his second, maybe third catch of the night for Underect as you get a look at the senior Velos, the quarterback. Kyle Velos.
Got a younger brother on the team who was number 31, plays some tight end. He's also the backup quarterback, and I think he'll probably be the heir apparent to that position in the years to come.
That would be Jordan Velos.
That was him just coming across the formation.
He'll line up on the right side here as Kyle Velos will try and swing that one out at short hops. Gribble, the intended receiver.
Well, he's got Tim Gross in his face. That's why he's having trouble getting the ball out there. Gross is just all over him all the time. He can't see the receiver very well, and he is one-hopping him out there. That's a little frustrating, I know, for the receiver and for the quarterback both.
Different package coming out now. Underect.
Probably going to go to the shotgun with 4 receivers.
They'll bring 3 of those receivers here to the near side. Gribble, Stokes, and Underect. High snap out of shotgun. Velos swinging it out, and it's short hops. Underect incomplete. Again, the timing of that play broken up by the high snap, and also good pressure on the defense.
Yeah, that was Cornha. That was, they were in his face right away. He didn't have a chance on it at all.
Well, with the apocalypse averted, a power struggle between all things that go bump in the night has begun, and only the Winchesters can restore order. Catch the Supernatural season premiere on a new day, Fridays at 8 on CW 18. 4th down, they try and set up the punt block. Punt will drift out of bounds, short of midfield.
Yep, at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it went out at the 40, so just a 17-yard punt, and again, tough to do in a 25-mile-an-hour wind in your face.
Yep.
So Franklin now.
I think their objective would be to run the clock a little bit.
Absolutely, that's what I would see right here. They don't need to put it in the end zone anymore.
Well, if they did get another one, they would get a running clock, and that would certainly end the game a little bit quicker. But they don't need any more points to win the game, and we'll see what their philosophy is. But certainly keep the clock running, keep the ball in bounds. Only throw if you have to, and make it a short throw, enough to get a first down.
Looks like we're going to get a new quarterback in there. Malmstead. Ian Malmstead, a senior.
I watched him in practice. He's a very good quarterback as well. He's got great feet. He's very quick. He's a baseball player as well on that state championship team. So
Ben Miller on the carry that time. Miller, new running back. There's Malmstead. 3 for 3, 44 yards and a touchdown so far this year for Malmstead.
He had the great misfortune to live in Franklin and be born the same year as Lance Barrett was.
Yeah, but he'll always be the answer to the trivia question, right? Every
year,
every 5 years at the reunion, right? Fumbling the snap, it's loose on the turf back at the 43, and it looks like the Sabres cover it up.
I think that's a smart thing to do. There's no reason to have Barrett's in the game now. He's the guy who is going to take you to the promised land if you get there.
I don't know, can we call the smart play of the game taking the starting quarterback out like Barrett's?
As a former coach, I would say yes.
3rd and 13 now for the Sabres. Malmstead hit as he's throwing and makes a nice throw and a nice reception out there. Oates again diving inside the 30 to the 29 in front of Marwin Evans.
And Malmsted had a guy in his face too, and he stood in there and got rid of it. It was right on the money.
And again, without Walton since early in the third quarter, left with some sort of a leg injury, so
hopefully he'll be back. He's a huge part of their offense.
now you have both Pollock and Miller in the backfield. Olmsted will work from shotgun. 1st and 10 from just inside the 30. Give to Pollock, breaks it right side, inside the 25, down to the 18-yard line before he is wrapped up there. Gain of 12 and another first down for Franklin.
Now this is a little unusual for Franklin. They normally don't go with 2 running backs. In fact, I asked Coach Klepp this week if there would ever be 2 running backs, and this is probably because of their situation. They're trying to run the clock out.
A good strong run for Pollock over that right side, able to pick up the first down at the 17-yard line. And again, this is what's difficult when you run the hurry up the entire game. When you get into situations like this, you're used to rhythm and getting the play, going to the line, calling the play. Now you're trying to take down as much time as you can.
You also want to run that clock down. And of course, in high school, you have 25 seconds between plays, but there's no 25-second clock that you can watch. The way that works in high school, there's an official that it's called the field judge down in the middle of the field, and he makes a signal in the last 5 seconds, and that's how the quarterback knows that time is running out.
Pollock brought down by Prado. 6:40 to go. Time remaining here. Franklin going to move on to their 5th win. Their 3rd in the league, and trying to Bradford playing Horlick tomorrow night. Like to keep pace. Setting up a matchup down the road on Thursday night here on All-State Thursday Night Lights down in Kenosha. Between this Franklin and Bradford team. Got to delay a game here on Franklin.
Well, Jeb Kennedy, the coach from Bradford, is here tonight, and I'm sure he is taking copious notes on what is transpiring. And obviously there's games in between this one this weekend and the one they have in week 8. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but there's a lot of good information that's being disseminated here tonight on that field.
Well, Bradford's such a tough team to defend because of Gordon, the speedster, once he gets outside, but then DiBartolo, their quarterback, you want to take that away, they'll just pound it inside as Pollock nowhere to go.
Well, Bradford has 3 guys who can run for a touchdown on any play of the game.
Yep.
That is very difficult to defend, and DiBartolo has become a pretty decent passer as well, so. All we're doing is running the clock out here.
Yep.
Good job by the defense right there.
Flowing to the ball nicely that time. Bradford moving up in the national ranks. 64th, I think, this week is what I saw.
It's a good ranking.
Nationally, as Miller, right up the middle that time, gets it to the 24. And Franklin facing a 4th down here. Sabres taking advantage of 3 turnovers in that first half.
They're going to punt here and just back them up, just pooch it. No, they're going to try a field goal.
They are going to attempt a 42-yard field goal with the wind at his back. Matt Ward, who hit from 22 earlier.
This is good. I would do the same thing. You need to find out what he can do.
Good snap, ball down, kick on the way, plenty of distance, and it is good.
Nice.
Wow. 42-yarder for Matt Ward, his longest of the season.
Nothing like a good tailwind.
We'll step out 48-14. With under 5 minutes to go here in Oak Creek, our All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. A 42-yard field goal, and he got all of it.
And he's not even kicking off.
Look at that. Mason Crosby, beware. As this one will skip through the end zone for the touchback. So Oak Creek on their own 20. Seems like we've said that a lot here tonight. They have had trouble getting good field position tonight.
I think that's the 6th kickoff into the end zone or out of the end zone, so we've said it at least 6 times.
On our last gasp of summer here
Right.
as we enter the autumn season officially today.
Thank God the rain held off tonight, at least to this point, and allowed the field to stay dry and give both teams a fair chance at showing what they can do.
Velos remains at quarterback for Oak Creek. And he'll hand it off. Coming around the far side, out across the 35 and knocked out of bounds near the 37. 17-yard pickup. I believe that was Young.
I think it was.
No.
That was number 22. I couldn't see the number for sure.
Tough to see the black on black. That didn't do any favors tonight for Oak Creek, going with the black jersey, black pant look tonight. They'll just dive it up the middle across the 40 to the 42.
We have a new quarterback in for Oak Creek, it looks like.
Gain of 4 sets up second and medium distance here, about 6.
Been able to, number 11. Oh, that would be the
Jordan
Velos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jordan Velos in at quarterback, and now penalty markers down before the snap. We have movement up front. And again, that's the risk with changing quarterbacks too. You get a new voice back there, new cadence. So 5-yard walk-off here against Oak Creek will make it a 2nd and 11.
I don't think Oak Creek will get too fancy now. They'll just stay basic and
keep it on the ground.
Keep it on the ground and try to get the game over. It's obvious they're not going to win it.
Try and keep it there and
keep everybody healthy for the next one.
Conley, I believe, there to make the stop for the loss. Clock continues to roll here. Under 4 minutes to go. But, you know, we talked about the Southeast Conference and some big games left to be played in that league. You've got the Franklin-Bradford matchup later on down the road, but Kenosha-Tremper and Kenosha-Bradford to close out the season.
That's a real war because those two schools have been there for many, many years, and I guess you could say they don't like each other very well when it comes to playing football.
I'll try and dump it out here near side. Pass intended for Kochanowski. Jordan Velos, there you get a look at the stats on Velos, 6'2", 240.
Yeah, he's those are not quarterback stats from the weight standpoint, but he is he's a well-proportioned young man. He probably is going to be a load for somebody in the next couple of years.
Well, Ziegler going to try and punt this one. Not sure what you can do with this into the teeth of this wind, but
get a roll, kick it out to the right out here, and see if you can get it to roll.
Oates standing near his own 30. Try and
Meyer.
block it on the edge and
kicked it out of bounds.
Yep. Smartly boots it out of bounds toward the Franklin side of the field. So Sabres now with an opportunity to just run out the clock and get out of Dodge, so to speak.
The Tremper-Bradford game, is that the last game of the year? Does that come up before Bradford plays Franklin? Do you know that?
It's right at that same time. I'll have to double check my numbers here. But Oak Creek still has games remaining here at, or I should say away, next week at Horlick, then home against Tremper, then they play at Muskego, and then close out the regular season here at home against Racine Park. As quarterback Malmstad, I should say, trying to keep in the middle of the field. May have squeaked out a yard.
It's like kind of a snail going down the field now. Both teams just back and forth, keeping the clock running.
We did have a penalty on that particular play against Franklin. You get a look at Coach Bartholomew.
I think I would probably decline that, go to second down.
Be a false start penalty here on Franklin, declined by Oak Creek. He'll take the play, which was no gain, 2nd down.
Well, both teams have gotten their reserves in, and it's a chance for these guys who practice every day like everybody else to get a few licks in and have some fun.
Firing it out that far side, Matt Hulsey. Hulsey, a senior, 5'9", 154. His first carry tonight. Should be enough for a 1st down, and that will keep the clock moving here for Franklin. They'll go to 5-0, 3-0 in league play. As the ride this time to Miller.
Coming into the game, Franklin hadn't played as strong a competition as Oak Creek had, so it was a little hard to tell whether, how good Franklin was. They had played Marquette and they beat them rather handily, 21-0, and they only had given up a touchdown to Muskego, who was highly thought of at the beginning of the season, but their season hasn't panned out quite as well as they had hoped. But I think they made a statement tonight that they're for real, and they're going to be around for probably a long run into the playoffs.
2nd and 2. And again, the carry by Hulse inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line. Gain of about 11 and a 1st down for Franklin. Clock will stop while they reset the chains here. Just under 2 minutes to go.
The coaches have a chance here to look into the future a little bit. They may find a good backup player here. Somebody who hasn't had a chance to play much this year. He makes some good plays in this game. You get the coach's attention when they're watching the video afterwards, and move up the depth chart a little bit.
Once again, they'll try a little up the middle with Miller. Cuts it back inside the 10 down to the 9. So again, good strong finish off that run by Miller.
Probably just enough plays and time to. There's no reason to score.
No.
I think if you get to a point here, you as a, I would always do as a coach, I would take a knee, not to insult anybody, but just to say, hey, we're not trying to run the score up on you. The game's over. They don't get under center, so they're not likely to do that. But there's no reason to score a touchdown here. But at the same time, they're going to get one right there. It looks like
Miller's going to squeak it in, just as we were talking.
At the same time, you can't ask him not to run. No. I mean, he practices, he plays. He's paid his dues. Run it in. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. It's up to Oak Creek to stop him. That's.
In no way was that a run up there.
They're not trying to run up the score.
No, that was just a simple dive over the left side, and there was a huge hole, and you just can't tell your runner not to run it into the end zone or just fall down.
It'd be a bigger insult if he went down and took a knee or something like that.
So the extra point upcoming. (55-14) your score.
It sounds a little bit similar to last week's score.
Yep. And you see Coach Klemp, I don't think wanted to see that get in the end zone, but really had no choice there.
I can tell you as a coach, you don't. You really don't. But you can't ask your players to go in there and not play hard.
And there was a nice hole there.
Unless you tell the quarterback just to take a knee, and then you're saying we're not going to try to score. That's not their system. They don't have a quarterback under the center, so taking a knee is not something they do.
I'm sure that will be discussed by Jeff Klemp in the handshake line to their coaching staff that there was no intent to run up the score there at all.
Well, Mike Bartholomew and Jeff Klemp stood and talked for almost 20 minutes before the game, so you know that they have great respect for each other, and I don't think there's any suspicion by Coach Bartholomew that Coach Klemp is trying to run the score up.
Any guesses as to where this kick is going?
I think I'd try to put it through the uprights if I was him. Nope, that's the first grounder of the night.
Yep. Taken here on the near side.
Now we're getting a good return.
Nice return. This is Harlan.
Yeah, that's a
And
nice
Harlan
return.
returns it up into Franklin territory, out of bounds, near the Sabre 45-yard line. Looked like Oates might have gotten there to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Nick Harlan, a junior, with the return.
Yeah, he's actually carried 11 times this year for 57 yards, which is a 5-yard average.
Another first bank, first down tonight. Let's see, Oak
Should be
Creek.
the last play of the game.
Yeah,
I don't
would
think they're
think
even going
so.
to get it off.
Well, time will expire because of the continuous clock. They will not get it off. And Franklin, your winner tonight, 55-14. Again, getting 17 of their 24 first half points off turnovers. Riding that, taking the opening kick here in the second half and marching into the end zone and taking this series, the 47th renewal of this rivalry here in the south
you got a good
south
view of
side
the
of
coaches
Milwaukee
there
County.
shaking hands. There's no hard feelings about what happened, and I didn't think there would be.
So Franklin now at 5-0, 3-0 in the league. 55-14 your final. We'll take a break. Back with our post-game wrap-up. Sabres all over the Knights tonight on All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. 55-14 your final tonight. The Sabres in dominating fashion knock off the Oak Creek Knights to remain undefeated and 3-0 now in league play, 5-0 overall. Knights their second straight loss in conference. They're now 1-2 in league play. Let's head down to the sideline for our presentation with Brian Calhoun.
Coach Klemp, congratulations on the win against Oak Creek. Very impressive. Here's the Wisconsin National Guard banner, and here's your trophy for beating Oak Creek in the rivalry game. Congratulations, Coach.
Sabres in dominating fashion here tonight, Dick, and really wasn't any doubt early on. They took the opening kickoff, marched it in, and taking advantage of 17 points off turnovers in that first half, and Oak Creek really unable to recover.
Well, I went and watched Franklin practice this week, and it was pretty obvious to me after, and I did it on Tuesday after seeing Oak Creek practice on Monday, that they had probably some better players. The stats are overwhelming, almost 500 yards for Franklin, 4 turnovers for Oak Creek was a killer. The 317 yards passing, 175 on the ground. That's a nice mix, you know, and it's going to take a really good defensive team to slow them down, and there are some out there, that's for sure. But they're a very impressive team, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again down the road.
Coach, you were spot on in your keys to the game. Oak Creek needed to win that turnover battle. They came up short, and that really is the difference in this ballgame.
It cost them probably 2 or 3 touchdowns and maybe at least 20 points. So I think Coach Bartholomew will be philosophical, and he'll bring them back. Don't worry.
55-14 your final here tonight. Sabres a victory. We'll be back with our final rep here at Oak Creek right after this.